moments. TNT Sports.
Beautiful Saturday up in Ottawa, but there is desperation in the air. The Senators surged into the playoffs, but now trying to avoid being swept by the Carolina Hurricanes. For Carolina, of course, this is familiar territory. They've advanced to the second round the past 5 seasons. Today, in Canada's capital city, they look to move on to round 2, be the first team to do so. Of course, for Ottawa, the offense needs to make an appearance, but Linus Ullmark will have to be strong if they're going to force a Game 5. The moments before a potential elimination game. Players going to hit the ice in front of an afternoon crowd that's definitely on edge up in Ottawa. Carolina trying to be the first team to punch their ticket to round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Ottawa hoping that today does not end in handshakes. It is time for all of you to get comfy because we've got you for a long time today here on TBS. Big afternoon, 2 elimination affairs. After Sens Canes, it's off to St. Paul. We got Game 4 between Dallas and Minnesota. Dallas up 2-1. Then later tonight, Sidney Crosby and the Pens looking to stay alive, down 3-0 against the rival Florida. Excuse me, the rival Penguins.
Yeah.
Getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Pace yourself.
You have a big, sexy voice going, though, Liam.
I'm bringing it today.
You sleep, Liam?
You know what? It's because I'm over here and I'm using more of the space in the studio.
For sure. A lot of echo.
I'm projecting. It's opening face-off powered by Verizon.
I feel like we're back in COVID rules.
And then there were 3. This is it.
How you doing?
All visit at
Man,
Anson Carter. Explore the space, guys.
Yeah.
It's all yours.
I kidnapped Hank and I took his green suit. He's at the 4 Seasons right now, locked in my closet, but I hope he's doing all right. I left some carrots and some fruit in there for him.
Fits nicely.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, very kind. Yeah, very kind.
Well,
great to see you guys.
It's pretty cool.
Did they hire Nick Delorier as team security as well as like forward for
Looked like it, didn't it?
He is a mutant right there.
Massive individual.
Yeah.
Just to scare people on the way in, I think.
You couldn't even see Stankoven walking in until he got beside him in the frame there. I was pretty. Look at him there.
This is him.
Jesus.
And then
like a Volkswagen.
when you wonder why people don't want to drop gloves with Nick Delorier, well, there's your answer.
Scary.
God.
Fully caffeinated and ready to go today. Listen, we have such a great group that work with us here. I mean, it's just the 3 of us today, but we have so many people that rotate in and out. And they do such a great job, and they work so hard. But it was odd that our first true triple header of the season, phone calls, people like, hey, I just got stuff going on today.
Not available.
A whole group of them, apparently, all have something to do. What?
Okay.
There they are. The Army's bartending.
Wait a minute.
They're working, I
They're
guess.
partying with Bowie?
Oh, that
about?
stings.
I thought I saw Jazz earlier. He's on
Look
vacation.
at Army over there mixing up cocktails.
doing water aerobics.
Hanks, get off the peptides, man.
Oh, Hank's a unit, man. Hank is a unit.
Oh, my goodness. Listen, there's no place we'd rather be, right? Taking in all the action here. It's funny, we even talk about, like, the nights that we're off. We're still watching all the games.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, we might as well just be here, do this. It's a lot better anyway. But we watch so many things, and you get surprises during the playoffs. And I think one of the big surprises has to be Carolina may have the best line going in the playoffs, or at least in the Eastern Conference, you'd have to say. And Logan Stankoven is keying this thing right now. The stanky line. That's what we're going to call it at this point. He's tied for second in goals. Look at all the shot attempts, the scoring chances tied for first, inner slot shots. So he's going to those dirty areas despite the fact that he is really not the biggest guy on the ice. But let's go on the ice. Powered by Verizon. Let's take a closer look at these guys. So it's Stankoven, it's Hall, it's Blake. Let's start with Stank. What makes this line go? What makes them so dangerous?
I think it's their compete level. You know, they all skate very well, but they all have that second and third and fourth and fifth efforts, Liam. And they're willing to get inside on this Ottawa Senators defensive core. Stankoven, since coming over from Dallas in that trade for Rantanen, he's been incredible. And everyone thought he was a throw-in. He was great in Dallas, even better now in Carolina Biz, giving even more responsibilities by Coach Rod Brind'Amour's staff.
Yeah, I mean, incredible motor on all of them. Obviously, Taylor Hall known for his skating and as well as his compete level. He's found a great home there in Carolina after moving around a little bit. Listen, self-admittedly, I was a little concerned with them coming into playoffs, especially with Florida out and their opportunity to potentially win a Stanley Cup with rolling him as their second-line center. I think he's out to prove and shut a lot of people up, including myself. And you look at a guy like Jackson Blake, like he's got the motor and he is a pain in the ass to play against. He will get under your skin. He's got a little bit of that rat in him, but all the game in the world to match it. And I think that Taylor Hall is very happy that he's found this home in Carolina. He loves the system. He loves where he fits in. And like you guys have mentioned, like this is, in my opinion, probably the most effective, best line so far in these playoffs.
Halsey's always thrived in that secondary role. You know, besides that MVP season he had in New Jersey, whenever you put him in that secondary role, he's always thrived, not having that premier matchup. But I want to swing it over to Jordan Staal. I thought that first game, he set the tone for this series, taking on the head of the snake, Brady Tkachuk. He didn't back down Brady wanted to get in the series and pump his team up, set the tone in that game one back in Carolina. And Jordan Staal said, you know what, I'm up for the challenge. And he handled himself, and I really believe the rest of his team has really followed his direction.
Well, he's one of the few guys that wouldn't hide behind Nick Delorier size-wise. Like, you would see him behind him because he's an enormous individual. And by the way, I have some news here, breaking news about Nick Delorier. He is in the game today.
Okay.
Nick Delorier is playing because Nikolai Ehlers is out for today's game. That's a big loss offensively for this Carolina team. Two dramatically different players, as you say.
I think he's got the Vaseline on his face right now.
Yes.
Holy jeez. Okay,
so when you talk about different looks, going from Ehlers to Delorier changes things just a little bit for Carolina.
Yeah, it was nice of him to leave the tattoo chair in order to join this game, too, this afternoon. But obviously a scary individual. Things sometimes, can get rough with a few of the guys that they do have on Ottawa. You have a guy like Nick Cousins, who's a bit of a rat, so he'll probably keep him at bay, as well as a guy like Brady. We know how he can inflict his power and his physicality throughout a game. Don't know how much ice time he will draw in, but going back to that third line, like Ehlers, man, with that speed and how well balanced it is with Jordan Staal, who's obviously steady up the middle, and a worker being Jordan Martinook, who probably doesn't get enough credit, man. He's like one of the heartbeats of this team and really embodies what it is to be a Carolina Hurricane. Like, I was really disappointed when I was with Arizona calling radio that they didn't re-sign him and keep him on board, because he's that type of guy you need in the locker room. He'll do whatever it takes. He'll help you kill penalties. He'll block shots. So they're really going to miss Ehlers on that line. But let's see how Nick draws in and how they well balance that lineup.
One more thing, as you see Jordan Martin out there, and we're going to chat with him in just a little bit. Listen, a big part of the story has been goaltending. And Freddie Anderson, I think we came in, we weren't even sure if Freddie Anderson was going to start, right? I mean, this is Carolina. Kochetkov was getting healthy. Bussy had been such a good story during the regular season. And Anderson posted the worst numbers of his career during the regular season. 874 save percentage. How about 964 in the playoffs?
Pretty good bounce back.
Look at, I'm below a goal per game. What he's done here. If this continues, does it make you feel differently about what Carolina can do in terms of reaching a Stanley Cup final and potentially breaking this drought?
Yeah, and if he needs a little bit of rest, I don't think they have any problem going to Bussy. This is a team where, they rely heavily on analytics, and it's everybody pulling the rope. And going back to game one, maybe he wasn't tested as early. We know they like the shot volume, but there was a few really key saves he had in the power play for Ottawa. You saw one of them there, Brady Tkachuk, all alone in front of the net. And then going back to game two, he let in a weak one and quickly bounced back mentally, and then after that held the fort. So, he's had one bad goal that he's allowed, but other than that, he's looked tremendous throughout this series.
He's gotten a little bit lucky, too. That one save he made falling down, I think you got to give a lot of credit to their D-core.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys miss a lot of time. Jacob Slavin missed extended time. Gostisbehere missed some time. Keandre Miller missed some time, too. This D-core is very underrated. Nikishin in the back end, young fellow that came in last year in the postseason and played very well. They're making it very difficult on players like Timmy Stützle and Brady Tkachuk to try to create some offense. They've had their chances, but at the end of the day, when Freddie Anderson's there, he's able to thwart those chances and play very solid net for the Carolina Hurricanes.
It's pretty impressive at the fact that we haven't even talked about the top line for Carolina, and they're up 3-0 in this series right now. I expect them to draw some blood this afternoon and do a little bit more damage. But, Seth Jarvis maybe been a little bit quiet from what we're used to seeing. But going back to the way that this team is built, it's all hands on deck. Everybody contributes, and they've done a tremendous job so far.
Really nobody quieter, though, than the star players on the other side for Ottawa. And we're going to talk about the forwards in a second, but this is an Ottawa team that's in an 0-3 hole, and they're going to try to dig out of this hole without their best defenseman, right? In Game 3, Jake Sanderson took a shot to the head from Taylor Hall. You saw that he got 2 minutes for it. He later took himself out of the game, but only the 2-minute penalty. No further discipline. Senators owner Michael Andlauer not pleased, telling the Ottawa Citizen that one should have control of their body the same way they have control of their stick. It's ridiculous that you get 4 minutes for a high stick to the face that draws blood, but only
response that he had being angry at Taylor Hall. And, when you see an owner step in and make those comments, you know that's playoff season, because typically you don't hear owners say anything.
Yeah.
Especially in Canada, because you really don't. And good for Michael Andlauer to say.
Devastating loss for the Ottawa Senators. Like, this is a guy who's going to lug you in an elimination game. I wouldn't be shocked if he played 30 minutes. And he touches all areas. So things go from bad to worse. But if we're talking about the star players for Ottawa, Liam, I think that obviously Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk have been snake bitten here. Not for a lack of effort. Going back to last game, it just looked really bad at the fact that they had the 5-on-3. It was very unorganized. They couldn't even snap a tape-to-tape pass. And then even going to when the goalie was pulled, they couldn't even get it set up in the offensive zone. It just looked ugly. And you could just see how frustrated Brady was with the press around him after the game, because he cares. He loves it. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He competes. He wants to bring his team success. And when you can't have that, it can be very frustrating, especially when a lot of the attention weighs on your shoulders.
You mentioned it's not a lack of effort with these guys, lack of production, though, and it's glaring. We're going to talk to Mike Kelly, take us inside some of those numbers, also chat with Jordan Martinook when we return. It's an elimination game. Huge Saturday here on TBS. First of 3 games for us. 3 guys at the panel really spaced out from each other.
I left the volume on the television. Hank, hope you're all right in there, buddy. We got you. We love you.
Welcome back. Opening faceoff powered by Verizon elimination game. We are taking this right back up to Ottawa in the arena and bringing in Jordan Martinook, who had the game winner earlier. Jordan, thanks so much for coming on. You had penalty shot, game winner. Pretty eventful night for you in that game. Now you got an elimination game. You guys have been through this before. You know how to close out series. What's been the message for Rod going into today's game?
Just put our best game forward. Obviously, it's been a tight series. They've been 1-goal games, and I don't think that's going to change here today. It's going to take our best, and we're ready to come out and bring it.
Marty, it's Ace. We're talking about your captain, Jordan Staal, setting the tone in this series with that tilt with Brady Tkachuk. How did that energize the group when you saw him drop the gloves in that first game?
Yeah, I just think that whenever you see your captain kind of, and he's not known for doing that when he steps up and you got to give Brady credit. He's a tough guy, and Jordan steps up and sets the tone. So it was an incredible start. It definitely got the juices flowing, and everybody's ready to go after that.
Marty, it's Biz. Love your game so far this playoffs. You've been playing tremendous. I just wanted to ask, was it you who applied the Vaseline in Nick Delorier's face before warm-up?
No, that wasn't me. Yeah, he likes to lube himself up, so I'll tell him you said that. I don't know if it's Vaseline either. We got to double check on that.
All right, good luck
We'll
today,
send in
Marty.
the specialist in the hazmat suit.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
luck,
thanks,
Marty.
Can
Marty.
I just say hi to 3 people? Hi, Chase. Hey, Ivy. Hey, Lane.
Love that.
Nice.
Yeah. Love that.
Very cool.
Chase, Ivy.
Those are the 3
third
guys
one,
who
right?
applied the Vaseline in Nick's face.
Exactly.
That might have been his kids.
Oh, okay. Or that, yeah. You
Or
mean
not.
Oh, this
Look
is
at
what
that.
you're talking
Holy
about?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
like a lunar eclipse. Don't stare right at it. Can I get a pair of shades?
This is he's going into the octagon.
Yeah.
I think at this point.
I'm calling him
Kind of looks
D-Lo
like
from now on instead
like
of Debo.
like spawn of Brock Lesnar, doesn't he? A little bit. Can we get
Ooh.
one more shot of that?
You think
Doesn't he look like Brock
We'll
Lesnar?
we will bring that back.
Okay.
And I want to.
Let's
We'll
just put that on
get
loop.
us side by side, and then you can do a detailed breakdown of the whole thing.
Okay.
Maybe Mike Kelly has some numbers that support the comparison
He's
between
got
the
the
two of them.
analytics
Let's
of
bring
how
in,
much
let's
Vaseline
bring in
used.
Mike right now. He is up in Ottawa taking this all in. Got numbers from Sport Logic. Mike, we were talking about Brady Tkachuk and how the production isn't there, the effort is there. Can you take us inside these numbers? I mean, we use the term snake bit a lot. Certainly seems to apply with him.
Yeah, first of all, Liam, you should get an Emmy for being the first one ever to do a Vaseline to analytics segue as effectively as you just did. So that's why you're one of the best in the business. As for Brady Tkachuk, he'd like to score some goals. Look, he's got a lot of good chances, right? Scoring chances, he's top 15. He's getting to the net front area where he scores a lot of goals from. In terms of goal probability, all the shot attempts that he's had, there actually isn't another guy in the playoffs who should have more goals than Brady Tkachuk, but he's still got 0. So, look, at the end of the day, you got to produce. It's a results-oriented business in the postseason, and in order for Ottawa to not get swept, fellas, it just feels like this needs to be a game where afterwards we're like, it was a Brady Tkachuk game.
Mike, it's Biz here. I got to shift my attention to the Minnesota-Dallas series. Obviously a great start for many, and now they've dropped the last two. My good friend Matt Murley, leader of the EBR squad, has labeled Minnesota the fraud squad. What did their high-danger chances look like in Game 3 at home?
Yeah, not good, Biz. Not good at all. And look, Dallas did an unbelievable job of protecting the most dangerous scoring area on the ice, the inner slot. It's where half the goals in the league get scored. It's not an arbitrary image or space. This is literally where half the league goals come from. They did not allow a shot on net, the Dallas Stars, the entire game. It's a playoff game. It's a double overtime game. 90-plus minutes and nothing from the inner slot. I did a little bit of digging. Over the last 5 years, there's only been one other playoff game where a team was not allowed an inner slot shot. That was a 60-minute game where Pittsburgh beat the Rangers 7-2. So this doesn't happen, but this speaks to how great Dallas is defensively. Glenn Gulletson, I tweeted this image out actually. Glenn Gulletson got asked about it, and he said, we've been a good inner slot team all year. Our guys have taken it to another level, though. I'd say the accurate, yes. Undersell, also yes.
Kels would say, speaking of giving up nothing, the Flyers right now are giving up nothing to the Pittsburgh Penguins. What are the numbers telling us about how they're shutting down the Pittsburgh Penguins and maybe Sidney Crosby in particular?
Yeah, they've been great. They've been a top defensive team for a while, even coming into this series, Ace. And, Biz affectionately calls the Flyers the scumbag Flyers, right, as a compliment. Well, the Flyers have turned the Pittsburgh Penguins into the perimeter Penguins. And look at what they've done just against Sid, number 87 at 5-on-5. Sid's been on the ice for just over 40 minutes. Shots are 21-8 for Pittsburgh in those minutes. That's nice, right? Well, slot shots are 4-4, and goals are 1-0 Philadelphia. So they've been happy to give the Penguins the outside, and they're protecting that home plate slot area in front of the net. It's been unbelievable. The Penguins at 5-on-5 have had the puck about twice as much as Philly in the offensive zone. They have more shot attempts, but they're outshot from that inner slot area, and they've been outscored 6-1 at 5-on-5. This Flyers team, they lock it down like nobody's business, guys, and huge reason why they're up 3-0.
Kels, I hate to put you on the spot here. Any information on the second line for the Carolina Hurricanes and how dominant they've been with Stankoven, Jackson Blake, and I'm drawing a blank on the other one here. Help me out.
Taylor Hall.
Taylor Hall. You stumped me the other day putting me on the spot, Biz, so I came prepared today, all right? I was studying last night in Montreal. And they've been great. Goals are 3-0 when they're on the ice for the Hurricanes. The other three lines, goals are 2-1 Ottawa. So it just shows you how good they've been. I don't know about you guys. Taylor Hall, to me, looks like he's in like MVP Taylor Hall form. He's been a dog out there for Carolina.
Mike, appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Enjoy the game there.
Great stuff, Kels.
Thanks, guys.
I want
to in the spot too just now. I didn't know where you were going with that question.
Yeah, I stumped myself with the Taylor Hall on the left side, though. But you said you think he's better when he's almost like in a complimentary role.
100%.
Kind of like when he was in Boston,
Yes.
right? When he moved over to Boston and they ended up going to the Stanley Cup. Was it the year they went to the Stanley Cup final?
No.
Oh, okay. But he was good that year.
Really
He was
good.
Very good in that middle six role. And I feel like he's found a great home in Carolina, and he gets to fly under the radar.
Do you think it has anything to do with Rod Brindamore's system, though? a little bit more straightforward, right?
It certainly helps.
And it feels like a straight line skater who can still get up and down the ice.
And he's playing with other guys that play with pace, too. Stankoven plays straight line hockey. Jackson Blake plays straight line hockey, too. I just think he slots them better because there isn't that pressure of facing the other team's number one, number two defenseman. And you have to have guys further down the lineup that could generate offense. You know every single game, other teams get a game plan for your best players. Always, either your top checkers will go out against them or the top defensive pair will go out against them, too. So who's going to come in on your lineup, Biz, further down the lineup and have some success? I remember when we were playing Detroit Red Wings, that grind line with Draper and Maltby and those guys and McCarty, they feasted on other teams. Yeah, they were checkers, but they were also able to capitalize when the other team was out there, and they weren't probably expecting offense from that third line.
No doubt, no doubt.
We are getting set for an elimination game up in Ottawa. You got to know, on edge, north of the border, Canada last night. Another overtime game in Montreal, and now it's the Ottawa Senators down 3-0, hoping that Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle can step up offensively for their squad and force a Game 5. There he is, Nick Delorier-Lesnar.
Velo. Better tuck in your chain, Biz.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe he gets an endorsement deal with Vaseline.
What Vaseline company?
Oh, 11:40 a.m. They were out there getting ready for tonight's affairs. Puck drop is 8:22 Eastern. Maybe they know they need to be there because this day in history is not so good for the Flyers against the Pens. I don't know if you remember this. 1989, Mario Lemieux, NHL playoff record. He ties 5 goals, 3 assists. He had 4 goals in the first period.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a nice day.
Is that Hextall in net, too?
10-7 win over the Flyers. That was pretty darn good. 1989, that was that. What about 2009? This day, Pens overcome a 3-0 deficit in Game 6 against the Flyers. They come back. They win the game 5-3. They eliminate the Philadelphia Flyers. You saw Sidney Crosby front and center there. Now it's Crosby facing elimination against this Flyers team. Frustrated early on. Finally got on the board. Got the power play working, but can't stay out of the muck, right? I mean, this is a Philadelphia team that wants to play the way they want to play. Biz, you've eloquently labeled it. Go ahead.
Well, we got a group chat going on with Ryan Whitney. He loves to throw around the word scumbag. So we kind of.
Are you blaming him now?
No, I'm saying that he.
Or are you giving him credit?
I'm giving him credit.
Oh, okay,
he kind of likes to label them. He played for Pittsburgh a little bit longer than I did too. So I think he was a little bit more privy to the scumbaggery. I got a little bit of it. One of my first. I think one of my first fights was against Aaron Ashram, and my first point was against Philly. Suck on that one, Flyers fans. But yeah, they, as far as all the nonsense we've been talking about, is they were up 1-0 last game, and you could see Konechny give Russ that elbow to the face, right? It was a greasy little shot.
Yes.
So I don't think there's any debate if Philly wants to play a certain style. I just feel that Pittsburgh is not really built like that, and they should be staying out of it. Right there, they had full control of the game, up 1-0. You finally got your power play working. Yeah. You don't want this parade to the penalty box. You want to keep your lines in flow, which brought them the success they had during the regular season. Like, they were a 4-line team. You talked to Kobe Armstrong. He raved about how good the 4th line was, how much they contributed. Achari had a career high in assists. And
you want them to take penalties.
You want the Flyers going to the penalty box, and you want to stay disciplined. So I just felt that Pittsburgh kind of lowered their standards and came down to play Philly style of game. But once again, Flyers fans hear that and they're like, oh, we need credit. They deserve all the credit for being up 3-0. They played a tremendous 4-line game. Couturier looks like his old self. He's been such a factor in this series. And the defensive structure and what they've been doing to smother Pittsburgh has been incredible.
I don't think one player has changed an organization this year more than Porter Martone. I really don't. I hated watching the Philadelphia Flyers. In the postseason, I'm talking about. The postseason. I hated watching the Flyers. They're a boring team. We love our guy Talk. They made some adjustments after the Olympics. Right? They had to grind. Yeah. Now, looks like a different team. Looks like they're creating offense a little bit easier. They were a team before that I thought had to work so hard to create some offense. Porter Martone comes around, and it's a different situation, different story now. Yeah. They're creating plays. They're scoring off the rush. tic-tac-toe. Everyone's playing a lot more confidence. It's amazing what one player could do that the young, infectious.
It's weird. And those guys are buddies, and like they leaned on each other to like, you could come in. I think there's some confidence there.
And be yourself.
Like, you could come in, be yourself, and do this.
But you got to give the
incredible.
coaching staff credit, too. I think Patrick Waugh needs credit in New York, letting Schaefer be himself.
Yeah.
Talk, same exact thing. Letting Trevor Zegras be himself, too. You know, people are like thinking outside. How's Zegras and Rick Tocchet going to coexist? Tocchet's going to old school. Tocchet understands. He knows how to deal with people. He'll let you be yourself as long as you do what he's asking on the ice. Be whoever you want to be in the room.
Even if he's calling him Taco, which he was doing. Listen, that's our third game. It's an elimination game. Our first one, also a potential elimination game. We'll see. Can Ottawa stay alive, forcing Game 5, or can Carolina bust through to the second round? We got a big day ahead. Alex Faust, Jennifer Botchell, Chris Mason will have the call. We will see all of you at the first intermission. Enjoy.
We welcome you to Ottawa. The Stanley Cup playoffs on TNT Sports are presented by Geico. The first elimination game of this year's postseason. The Carolina Hurricanes looking to close out this series as they take on the Ottawa Senators. The Sens with their backs against the wall. Carolina with a dominant start to this series. Can they finish the job, or will this series get sent back to Raleigh on Monday? We're about to find out.
Gentlemen, please rise if you're able and remove your hats as Lyndon Slewage performs the Star Spangled Banner and O Canada. Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez vous lever, retirer chapeau et casquette pour l'interprétation des hymnes nationaux par Lyndon Slewage.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, it broke through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, free patriot love in all of us command. Atombrase porte le veer, il sait porter la croix. On its voie est une épopée, et plus brillant cette flamme. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Raucous but nervous energy inside Canadian Tire Center. First of two elimination games today in the Stanley Cup playoffs. as we welcome you inside. Alex Vaz, Jennifer Botterill, Chris Mason here with you. How do the Sens keep this series going?
Well, the Senators need to find some offense. They have only scored 3 goals in this series. They need to get to the inside of the ice to generate some high danger chances. Their power play has struggled 0 for 12. They need to find some looks in that department. And Mace, they've got to find a way to get this crowd behind them early.
Absolutely. And for Carolina, more of the same, the tenacious, fast-paced, unrelenting style of hockey, and they're going to need it against Ottawa, a desperate team, and I expect their best here today.
Freddie Anderson's been brilliant between the pipes for the Canes. They have been suffocating. They have played to their identity. Is there anything left in the tank for the Senators? Will we see handshakes, or will those have to wait? Underway in Game 4. The Hurricanes win the opening faceoff. One big note for Carolina. Nikolai Ehlers unavailable, not in the lineup. Nicolas Delorier draws in for Carolina, and some major changes for Ottawa. Of course, without Jake Sanderson, they were without Artem Zub in Game 3. And so both remain out here today. New personnel on D and a shake-up to the forward lines as well. Pass that's picked off by Dylan Cousins. Couldn't clear the zone. Jordan Martin kept it alive, and it spiked off the glass and into the crowd. Our Honda starting goaltenders, Freddie Anderson. 3 goals against on 83 shots in this series, a .964 save percentage. And on the other end, Linus Ullmark, who might be playing the best playoff series of his career, but is it being wasted? .933 save percentage for him in this series, easily the best in a postseason series in his career. Angle pass here to Jacob Slavin as he goes across. Jalen Chatfield's shot deflects wide. Picked up off the backboard. Jordan Spence unable to clear. Hard shoulder by Andrei Svechnikov. Senators having trouble leaving their zone in the opening minute. Out of the far corner, Shane Pinto has the puck stripped. Sebastian Aho is on it. Chatfield on the line. Wrist shot blocked. And it'll be taken out by Michael Amadio.
Well, that's a great first shift for the Hurricanes in their line with Aho, Svechnikov, and Jarvis, because really it's been the second line that's carried this team, so some good pressure from them early.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough for Ottawa. No Jake Sanderson in tonight.
Kept in by the Senators, and it'll be carried out. One and done trip for Ottawa. And here's Taylor Hall. You hear the boos. It was his hit on Jake Sanderson that caused an apparent concussion for Sanderson. DeAndre Miller's shot off the backboards, picked up by Tyler Klevin. And he'll hand it off to Warren Fogle, elevated to the Senators' top line here. Tim Stützle without a point in the series as he swivels the puck down low. Hall dodges a check from Drake Batherson. Nick Cousins steps up and bumps into Hall, and the Senators cough up the puck. Numbers here for Carolina. Hall moves in, dished it across, deflected by the stick of Carter Yakimchuk, number 58, a rookie in only his 5th NHL game. Cousins shot, glove save by Anderson. No trouble. Let's go back to Game 3. And there's the hits.
That's the hard hit. Hall's coming into the forecheck and clips Sanderson, and you can see right away, not impressed. And Sanderson continued to play for a bit in that game and eventually took himself out after not feeling well after taking the contact to the head.
Yeah, and I think Ottawa was wanting the review. Call the 5-minute major, go to the review and see what happens on that. They got none. And obviously Jake Sanderson being out of today's matchup is huge.
Off the face-off, Thomas Chabot, a shot into traffic, knocked down off the post, kept out! Freddie Anderson scrambling, and somehow the puck stayed out, and that's been the Senators' luck throughout this series.
And what a chance early by the Ottawa Senators as the fans recognize the effort there, and the chance as Nick Cousins chirping the Carolina Hurricanes bench, but a big face-off win here by Ottawa. Puck to the net. They got to get to the hard areas, off the crossbar and out. Desperation, but look at the numbers, Jen, in front. Carolina protecting that net front.
Right, you've got 3 cents. That's exactly what they need. They've spoken about they need to get in front of Anderson. 3 guys in front, and a nice move by Shabbat at the blue line to find the lane. You know they're going to rely on Shabbat. He's going to get big minutes, has to generate some offense for them as well.
Senators have yet to lead in this series. They've hit a half-dozen posts or crossbars along the way, but Travis Green, even with all those bounces that haven't gone their way, he felt like his team got away from their game big time in Game 3.
Well, exactly. He talked about this is not about home runs for our team. He talked about this being a game of getting the singles, the single hits to just make sure they get back to their game. And you can't play the run and gun style. He wants them to be offensive and look to generate, but he says they need to defend better. They need to make sure they're stopping and starting in their own zone and win some of those battles defensively.
The mental fortitude, he felt they got derailed by that tough 5-on-3 in Game 3. They've got to stay focused and stick to their game plan.
Cranked in by the Canes. And Tyler Clevin up the far boards. Brady Tkachuk turns the corner. He's without a point in this series as well. As Montempallo tried to feather it across. Blocked down and flipped out. Clevin back on it. Under pressure from Jackson Blake. Those two tie up in a corner. Clevin emerges with it. And now Tkachuk. Stretch pass deflected ahead by Ridley Gregg. Quickly the Canes will counter. Blake, rink-wide pass. Aho right on. Saved by Omar.
Oh, Mace, what a stretch pass by Anderson.
Bounce around in front. Taylor Hall on the back door, unable to settle that down.
Anderson very underrated with his puck playing ability. He's not shy to get out there and move the puck. Helps the Hurricanes get on their transition game.
He fired that one to the far blue line to Blake. Right on the tape.
This has been a fast skating series for both teams.
They play a very similar style of game. It's fast, hard defense, and then quick transition up ice.
Right off the backboards, first touch for Dennis Gilbert, drawing back into the lineup. Steal here for Carolina. Aho shot saved and covered by Omar.
That's a nice look in the offensive zone, the one touch. But here's that stretch pass. You see Blake at the far blue line. Anderson sees him and just fires the puck all the way down the ice, eventually finding Aho. And that's just great awareness, great intelligence, and confidence to move the puck.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the Carolina Hurricanes, they're well aware of Freddie Anderson's ability to move that puck so they can expect and anticipate that play. And like you said, Bob, it's just a perfect pass up there, and they got a scoring chance because of it.
Ottawa Senators spending a lot of time in their own zone to begin this game. Jordan Staal lunging on the faceoff against Lars Eller, who struggled big time. Game 3, 0 for 7 on faceoffs. Staal, who took the majority of draws for Carolina in Game 3. That was a storyline through the first couple. Hurricanes have recovered big time in terms of faceoff percentage. Shabbat Alves, Nick Cousins looking up ahead, couldn't connect with Eller.
Well, you think about Stahl's importance, and Rod Brindamore told us before the game he thinks Stahl is the most underrated player in the league in terms of how important he is for this team and what he does.
Absolutely. He just does every aspect of the game. He's out there, 32 faceoffs in Game 3. He's the kind of guy, that big fight with Brady Tkachuk to lead off the series. I mean, very underrated in what he does on both ends of the ice.
Jordan Staal in his 20th NHL season. Jordan Spence, a young defenseman. So lead it up ahead. Couldn't find Ridley Gregg in the attacking line. Taylor Hall to deflect it in.
Another look at getting the puck up quickly.
Steal by Stankoven, tried to play it to the middle. Gregg swoops in to take it with Tkachuk. Fed it across. Yakimchuk double clutch. Pad saved by Anderson. Carried out of the zone by Jackson Blake. And he'll hoist it in on the back end. Yakimchuk on the puck. Served it around the boards. Hall the intercept. Centering Stankoven denied by Olmark. Logan Stankoven, remember, has scored the opening goal in all 3 games of this series. Out high, Alexander Nikishin. Hard pass, Shane Gostisbehere. Back to Nikishin to drive into traffic. Winds up off the glass. Cozens absorbs a shoulder and dumps it out.
And the shoulder is from Stankoven. You know, he's the player that compete. He gets a grade A in the slot area, then just make sure he finishes his check before a shift change.
Big save there by Allmark. He's made about 2 or 3 beauties here in the first.
Nicholas Laurier as he dumps the puck around the boards. First playoff game for him in 4 years. Sent in by Ottawa. Anderson out to cut it off. Batherson ties up with Delorier along the boards. Batherson won the battle, then lost the puck. Montempallo shouldered off the neutral zone. It becomes a hand pass, and play is stopped.
So we talked about Stankoven. He's been great in this series, finding space, backhand to forehand, quick release. The Hurricanes' transition game has been noticeable. The 2-on-1 chance, they just missed connecting to find Stankoven. The play by Anderson. Transition up quickly. Blake is in the offensive zone, finding Aho for a great shot. Allmark's had to be sharp. When you think about the second line for the Hurricanes, they've been good all season. Look at game 3. They combined for 2 goals, 2 assists. They have dominated.
SAP Coaching Insights have given you those numbers. Penalty on the last play after the hand pass was whistled. They tagged Nicholas Montempallo with closing his hand on the puck instead of just a hand pass. So it is a power play here for Carolina.
Travis Green was screaming at the officials that entire timeout.
Penalties were a big part of the story in game 3. Carolina took a bunch of them in the second period. Ottawa took a bunch of them in the first period. And of course, the Senators, as you mentioned earlier, Jen, have yet to cash in on their power play. Carolina, though, it's not like they've been letting the world on fire either. Vanda Pharmaceuticals power play. Gostisbehere to Aho. And Gostisbehere. Sebastian Aho from the wall. Touch pass. Aho looks things over in the circle. Swings it back to the points. Gostisbehere gliding back. Aho opens. Passes. Svechnikov denied by Allmark. No rebound.
But you can see Aho on the one side. He's looking for the seam passes. And he's just, making hand gestures, guiding traffic, and does the fake shot from the high slot area and finds Svechnikov for the one-timer. I mean, Mace, the crowd loved it. That one looked like it was going a bit wide, but Allmark makes the glove save.
It was going wide, but as a goaltender, you can see Linus Allmark, his eyes are so connected. Nice no-look pass there by Aho. Allmark followed that all the way on that Svechnikov shot.
Hurricanes just 1 for 10 on the power play this series. Ottawa's penalty kill, that was a strength over the second half. Off the draw, unable to clear. That took a funky bounce. No matter. It'll be Lars Eller charging out of the zone. Drops it. Shabbat waiting. Feeding it to the back door. He had Eller there. Penalty on this play, though, as Shabbat goes headlong into the boards. And he's slow to get up. But a penalty will negate the final 41 seconds of this Carolina power play, and Shabbat is in trouble. We've talked about the injuries to the Ottawa blue line. It's already been devastating enough.
Carolina 26, minor penalty hooking.
And now Shabbat is struggling.
Huge concern, right? Sanderson's out, Zub's out, Jensen's out. And this is a play. I mean, Shabbat joins the rush. I mean, that was the right look to the weak side post. And you can't quite see the play on that angle, but after he comes through, you see him looking for the weak side and then is taken down by Walker and goes in hard. Here's the look, Mace.
That could have almost been 2 penalties. You got the stick in the hands and then the takedown after, and Thomas Shabbat getting up, going to the bench, and as you mentioned, Jen, this is huge. Ottawa Senators, the last thing they need is to go down 5 defensemen early in this hockey game, but he's still on the bench. Looks like he's going to bounce back. And
right, sigh of relief for the Senators. Right, when I mentioned those 3, when you think about Sanderson, Zub, and Jensen, those are 3 of your top 4D when you get Shabbat in there for your top 4D. So obviously he is going to be relied on hugely in this game. And appears to be okay. Stretching and grimacing a little bit, Mace, but
it's
staying on the bench.
Hockey, absolutely, and they need him. He knows that. Good start to the game for him as well.
41 seconds of 4-on-4. And then a Senators power play. Carolina controls the faceoff. They'll just handle it in their own zone. DeAndre Miller to bring it up. Gostisbehere now. Seth Jarvis over the red line. They'll peel back. Gostisbehere on the reset. Looking across, deflected, recovered by the Hurricanes, and then DeAndre Miller on a double clutch is offside. Rod Brind'Amour, he's happy. You can understand. But everything that this team and their identity, they've played to it over the first 3 games of this series.
They've stayed true to it, but Mace, in our conversations with him, you could tell he has felt the pressure and the expectation of this postseason. I mean, for this Hurricanes team, this year was not going to be defined by the regular season. It was how well they could do in the postseason.
Yeah, and I think everybody going into the last few seasons knows, hey, the Carolina Hurricanes are going to be one of the top teams in the league, but can they do it in the playoffs? And as you mentioned, you could see that that's weighing on his mind, and it's been tough for him to enjoy the ride here because of that, I think. So obviously a huge playoffs here for the Hurricanes franchise.
They haven't reached the Stanley Cup final since Brind'Amour was on the team that won it in 2006. Steele along the boards, and Stahl will clear down ice. This is a massive story, right, Jen?
It is, right? I mean, that's your first entry on your power play, and it's denied. See if they can find some rhythm.
Ottawa 0 for 12 on the power play this series.
Well, and then, hey, you got to give credit where credit's due, and that's Stahl standing up at the blue line, forcing the turnovers for your second attempt at an entry.
Yeah, and everybody's aggressive on the penalty kill, but I don't know if there's a team that's more aggressive and attacks more than the Carolina Hurricanes.
And Stützle walks to the middle, stick check, penalty. They're going to take Aho. He'll go off for a hook, and it'll be a 5-on-3 for Ottawa.
Rod not happy with that call. Right here, stick in the hands. I mean, anytime, that's the easiest call in the game. Anytime that stick goes into the hands, it's almost automatic. You could see it.
And it just missed it there, right? But you're affecting the puck carrier in full control in the zone. So, okay, 5-on-3. This was maybe the turning point where the Sens were in a close game in Game 3 and had an awful 5-on-3. So that has to be parked and put behind them. And now you have a huge opportunity here with a 2-man advantage.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for redemption. They've got to simplify a little bit, get that puck set up, and then get it to the net with traffic.
How'd you like to be 20-year-old rookie Carter Yakupchuk quarterbacking? Again, without Jake Sanderson.
But I love that, right? You have to make changes. You've been 0 for 12. Bring in someone with some offensive touch to try to change things around.
Absolutely. And Ottawa's been doing it a lot in the second half. I think they've used 12 or 13 defensemen in the second half because of injuries, so this is something they're comfortable with.
Hey, right, Mace. 13 overall in the season, 12 since the Olympic break. Here's Stützle flying in to the outside on Chatfield, around the net. Stützle serves it to the point. Yakupchuk across. And rotated down low. Claude Giroux walks out. Giroux dishes. Yakupchuk a pass broken up. Stützle couldn't flag it down after it was deflected. Out of the box is Walker. He'll lead the attack into the zone. Walker to the net. Put it wide.
What a stick there by Jordan Stahl on the 5-on-3. Breaking up that play and got a great scoring chance out of the box.
Yakupchuk lugs it through center. Self pass. Knocked away. Senators get it back. Pinto across. Stützle out high. Pinto to Yakupchuk. And back to Shane Pinto and jumped away. 3-on-2 for the Hurricanes. DeAndre Miller with Mark Jankowski. Miller darts out of the corner, killing some clock. DeAndre Miller by his lonesome, able to kill a good 15 seconds.
Yeah, the Suns are lucky because Jankowski was open in the slot area too after he had the Walker chance out of the box.
Thomas Chabot back off the bench as the Senators crank it around the boards. Battle emerges out of the corner. Ridley Gregg digging for the puck. Ian Pinto trying to jar it loose off the kick plate. Hops in the air. Pinto swings it to the line. Chabot across. Giroux back to Chabot. Tried to filter it to the middle. Good stick by Eric Robinson.
So the story of the PK, right? Good sticks, good pressure, able to clear the zone.
Yeah, they're not giving Ottawa any time to set up, and Ottawa's got to earn that more movement, more puck movement quicker.
Cousins with speed, shot blocked. Aho out of the box. Chabot shot snatched by Anderson. No shots on goal for the Senators across both legs of the power play.
Well, and here it is. Watch this stick by Jordan Staal, the captain.
That keeps them waiting around to find a claim, while Geico's claim support is available day or night. I mean, I'd have FOMO about that, if any.
The cycle. This has been Carolina's best line by far this series.
And it started because those two players pressured in their own defensive zone. You saw Stan Colvin going against the boards, Blake up at the blue line, and both of them shortly after get looks offensively.
NHL app is your place to get every highlight from every game of every series. Behind-the-scenes playoff content you won't get anywhere else. The most NHL Edge advanced stats. The Stanley Cup playoffs are better on the NHL app.
What's interesting is that both top lines essentially have been neutralized in this series. 5-on-5 together. Aho, Svechnikov, Jarvis, no points. And then, of course, the top line for Ottawa has been broken up, moving Tkachuk off it, but Tkachuk, Stützle, Batherson. Batherson has the 2 goals, but Tkachuk and Stützle obviously have been held quiet.
I would say the one thing watching this line for Carolina, though, Jarvis, Aho, they still look composed. Maybe they don't have the most points, but you see them controlling the play. Aho's guiding traffic, demanding the puck and just calm with it.
There's Svechnikov walking in, active stick from Montepallo. Off the backboards, Aho to settle. And he'll try to start a cycle. Svechnikov a little late in arriving.
And you feel as this series has gone on, Ottawa's kind of gripping the stick, a little tentative offensively, maybe second-guessing some of their decisions because of the lack of offense.
Breakout pass finds Seth Jarvis in the neutral zone. He'll dart to the outside on Jordan Spence. Drive to the net. And a glove from Linus Ullmark to shut things down.
And Alex, I mean, that's a hard drive to the net by Jarvis, and he still finds a way to get that puck towards the net. Another quick release. I mean, look, they are trying to get up the ice very quickly, and Jarvis, even though 2 players are on him, still finds a way to get the puck towards the net.
And he's looking to get going. 30-plus goals in the regular season. As you mentioned, that top line for Carolina, the Aho line with Svechnikov and Jarvis, yet to get that going, and they still find themselves with the 3-0 lead. And defended well there by Ottawa.
Jarvis, the leading goal scorer for the Hurricanes during the regular season.
And I'm just going to say, too, as you see Slavin jumping down to pinch, the D for the Hurricanes has also been so solid. You see Miller, who jumped up for a pinch. There was Slavin in that example. They have been so good defensively, knowing when to jump down.
Gilbert checked. Pat saved by Ullmark on the shot from the perimeter.
I think a lot of that, too, is the trust of forwards getting back up, supporting, allowing their defensemen to pinch down the walls.
Chatfield to the line, caught up in traffic. Staal took a hack after it. Hit the leg of Jordan Spence. There is Spence out of the corner. Gilbert around the boards, cut off by Chatfield. Down low, it's Jordan Martinook, double overtime hero in game 2. Staal drifts to the middle, missed the net high, not by much.
Okay, that's defensively for the Senators. You can't let that happen. You've got to protect the middle of the ice and make sure the Hurricanes can't drive in. And I think those are the details, right, Mace? That Travis Green really wanted to see from his team, to say stop and start. Make sure you've got your players in the defensive zone.
Yeah, and you know what? He says for the most part it's been good, but there's been pockets where they get away from their game, and that's when Carolina's really capitalized. A team that moves the puck and is quick as Carolina, the margin for error is so small.
Shot in from behind the red line, and Ullmark will halt play.
Well, Linus Ullmark, 0-3 in this series, a 93-plus save percentage. He's been down. They need some offensive support, but again, here in Game 4, elimination game, Linus Ullmark has been on fire. There's only been 4 shots, make that 5 for the Carolina Hurricanes, but about 3 or 4 good scoring chances, and Linus Ullmark off to a good start.
Ottawa trying to make a change here, but because that puck was frozen by the goaltender after being shot in from behind the red line, they cannot change personnel on this D-zone draw. Stützle on the face-off against Stamkos. One back by the Senators. Batherson Dealing with a heavy Carolina forecheck. Turnover. Walker. Shot. Blocked by Stutzla. Carolina gets it back. Blake along the wall. Opens. Dishes. Stankoven. Trying to keep a hold of the puck. Forced out by Batherson. And there's going to be a penalty.
He drew the hooking call.
Blake to enter. Fishing for Hall. Hall driving wide. Circles the net. Extra attacker over the boards on the delayed call. Miller. His pass intercepted by Stutzla. And a power play coming for Carolina.
And I will say, Alex, this is because Walker stepped down, pitched along the wall. They maintained possession in the offensive zone. And eventually, you see this hard work along the boards by Stankoven, draws the hooking call right there.
Ottawa, number 19, 2-minute minor penalty.
Only 4 teams in NHL history have performed the reverse sweep. Toronto in 1942 in the Cup final, the Islanders in 1975, Philadelphia Flyers in 2010, and the Los Angeles Kings in 2014. Claude Giroux was on that 2010 Flyers team that came back from down 0-3 to defeat the Boston Bruins.
Well, there you go. If the Sens are looking for inspiration, they've got it right in front of them.
Saying there's a chance.
Absolutely.
Giroux in to take this face-off. Power play for Carolina, their second. First one was abbreviated by the Sean Walker hooking penalty. Aho, half wall. Cycle now with Jarvis walking out. Gostisbehere surveying. Jarvis to Aho down low. Or Geico on the ice at the bottom of your picture. Aho drifts, passes. Gostisbehere lets it fly well high and wide. Gostisbehere races over to keep the zone. Gostisbehere backpedaling, opening, shooting, blocked out of play by Ridley Gregg.
Great pressure up top by Claude Giroux and Ridley Gregg there. Shane Gostisbehere walking the line, doing a great job. And Gregg and Giroux with some excellent work on the penalty kill. Both penalty kills in this series have been elite.
Some very good movement. You see the skating strength of Gostisbehere, even though under pressure. You know, whether it's the pump fake, looking for his opportunity. You see Stahl, too, in the bumper area. They are all active, making sure that they're engaged and moving to create those passing lanes.
Top 5 in power play points among defensemen over the last decade in this league. 1:20 for Carolina on their second power play. Fend to the middle. Gostisbehere blocked. Gostisbehere a turnaround bid after Pinto ate that puck. Shaken up, but gets back to his feet. Puck pass to Jarvis. Gostisbehere loading up. Jarvis once again. Curls out high. Tiptoes the blue line. Jarvis sliding in. Avoids the stick of Montempallo. Indirectly back to Gostisbehere. Fed down low and Stahl out in front. Pad save by Ullmark through a screen. Gostisbehere beating Jarvis. Gostisbehere once again. Long reach from Pinto. Jarvis trying to thread the needle. He'll get it back. Eller staying with him. Fed to the point. Gostisbehere wrist shot. Block. Gets it back. Fires. And that jumps right to the stick of Clevin, who could not clear. Fed back up top for Aho. No look pass down low. Centering. Aho! And that bounces around in front. Desperate defending by the Senators on their penalty kill. And they'll clear it all the way down.
Oh, some huge blocks on shots for the Ottawa Senators to help with that PK.
Yeah, they needed that clear in the worst way. How about that shift there by Shane Pinto?
Wrist shot, blocker saved, loose puck, swept to the line, not out. Another attempt, that from Walker off a stick to the glass. Walker holds it in with his skate, far boards, and it'll kick right to Thomas Chabot for the high flip. Intercepted, red line, Stankoven. They tag up, Stankoven drives, centers off the skate of Hall, squibbing wide of the net. Swept up the boards and out.
Stankoven and Hall driving the net together. They have been looking for each other and finding each other.
Wow, that offensive zone time is tilting.
Yeah. Ottawa battling, though. You got to give them a lot of credit. They're hanging in there. They're getting some big saves by Ullmark and hanging on here in the first.
Bryant up the boards. Cousins unable to clear. Slavin holds the zone. Will carry a hard check on Spence backboards, but the Senators are able to withstand that. High lift to the neutral zone. Stand up to deny Zetterlund to play on the puck. And it's dumped in on a delayed offside. Play is stopped.
So you think about that PK, you've got to make sure that you are getting those lanes. This was the one we talked about. Pinto gets his whole body in front of it, and he was feeling that on the shift, kept going, but Macy had to take a deep breath on the bench right next to you. And this one, Aho, and it's Matt and Paulo that makes sure that he gets a piece of that before it gets through.
Well, that was unbelievable. Shane Pinto, he blocked that shot. He was keeled over there. He was struggling, and he stayed out there for another minute and a half, and he battled through the rest of that penalty kill. The whole Senators bench got up, and they're banging their sticks on the boards after that block. What an effort there by Pinto.
6 blocks for Ottawa on that penalty kill. That's the type of stuff that can energize a bench, right, Jen?
Absolutely, and that's what they need. They need to get some energy, some positive feelings going, because there has been frustration building. So it's that kind of sacrifice that can be huge for your team.
And Cousins cancels out Martinuk. It's Zetterlund up ahead. Poke check beautifully by Jankowski. Loose puck. Zetterlund swings one from a sharp angle. Sticked away by Anderson. Clevin steps up for the blue line. Kachuk knocks it out in front. Zetterlund turns and fires, blocked to the back glass. Nikishin with the active stick. Kachuk barrels into his man, digs the puck free, swings it to the line. Clevin, a wrist shot blocked. Clevin steps up to keep the zone as Kachuk wrangles for the puck in the corner with Jankowski. Poke free, and Martinuk will clear.
I would say one thing in the defensive zone for the Hurricanes, their sticks are so active. So in the right spot, they're extending the stick to just make sure they get a piece of it. I mean, they play a man-on-man style, but you can see how dedicated they are to making sure that their sticks are in lanes.
Yeah, and I think both coaches have touched. There's no room in this series. There's no space out there. You can see Ottawa just trying to filter it and funnel it to the net, but Carolina does such a good job with the sticks, to your point, Box.
There you go, Mace. One more right in front of you.
Yep.
Blue line turnover leads to a counterattack. Aho written out by Spitz. Collision behind the play allows Amadio to skate with it. Jordan Spence now creeps in over the line, softly plays it to the corner in the final minute of the period. Carolina wins that board battle. It's Aho gaining the zone. Drop pass, Svechnikov, wrist shot caught by Omar, and he'll freeze the puck for a faceoff.
So on that entry, though, right, you see Aho. He's just one of those players. He's so skilled. He can just slow it down, because as he crosses that blue line, he's got the composure to make sure I'm going to look for my passing option. And I think you saw that from Jarvis on their power play opportunity. Just the delay. And the most elite players, that's what they do. So maybe not as many points as he would like, but that's not what's going to define this Hurricanes team.
Yeah, and Rod Brindamore talks about that all the time, about he doesn't look at the points. He looks at the productivity of their players and their ability to get up the ice and create chances. He knows eventually they'll come.
Face-off win for the Hurricanes. Touch pass from Hall in front of Chatfield. He'll activate below the goal line. Center intended for Jackson Blake. Intercepted and taken the other way. Stutzla gains the line. Feeds Batherson. Sharp angle shot. Gloved by Anderson.
He got caught. He was leaning a little bit, and he does have a tendency to do that, to lean off of that post if he's anticipating a pass to the middle.
Stick lift. Batherson centers for Fogle. Didn't reach goal.
Slave in there to make sure he didn't get the shot off.
Final seconds of the period. Anderson, one more save just before the horn. And we finished 20 minutes of play scoreless here in Ottawa in a do-or-die Game 4. Coming up, the Vanda Pharmaceuticals Intermission Report with Liam McHugh, Anson Carter, and Paul Bissonnette in the studio. Must win for the Senators. No score. 20 minutes into Game 4.
It's a Vanda Pharmaceuticals Intermission Report. Early start, massive stakes, goalies locked in. Freddie Anderson, acrobatics, doing anything to keep the puck out. And on the other side, for Ottawa, desperate times, desperate measures. Shane Pinto, serious sacrifice to make sure that this game remains 0-0 as his team tries to extend the series to a Game 5 and avoid elimination. We welcome you inside the studio. Lee McHugh, Anson Carter, Paul Bissonnette. Goaltending has been sensational for both sides, especially Freddie Anderson, who sort of erased a poor regular season with what he's done here so far. Vanda Pharmaceuticals highlight what has really stood out, though.
Just watching the way Freddie Anderson's been handling the puck. You know, you're coming in this postseason, you have the Ottawa Senators 9th in the National Hockey League in chances off of the rush, off the forecheck. And Freddie Anderson's just alleviating this and eliminating it because he's able to make these long stretch passes and give his defensive core a nice break. Look at nice reverse there. When you're moving the puck as a netminder, I feel like it gives your defenseman and the opportunity is to get open and not get hammered time and time again. Brady Tkachuk can't get in there, Liam, and apply pressure. And then if he sucks him in, he at one pass beats one forechecker, Biz, and they're off the races. I'm glad we've got Chris Mason now on the broadcast because we can hear directly from a goaltender exactly what's going through his mind as that puck is coming back to him with the forecheckers bearing down on them with full steam.
Let's bring in Mace right now. Let's talk to him about this. Mace, they get the red light on you. This is it. You're ready to go.
Work on this inflammation.
We're impressed with both goalies right now, but this is a charged environment, and it can't be easy to communicate. What do you make of what Freddie's done, puck handling, and just handling this entire situation?
Well, I think that's a part of his game that's very underrated. Obviously, I think it's on Ottawa to make smarter chip-ins and put the puck in a place where they're going to be able to retrieve it more. Anytime you're playing against a goaltender that handles the puck, you've got to get into the areas, put it in the corners, go get it. But if you give it to Freddie Anderson, he's going to do exactly what he did on the clips you just showed, and that helps Carolina stay out of the defensive zone and get up on the attack. And as we know, Carolina is one of the best transition teams, and Freddie Anderson a huge part of it.
Mace, it's Biz here. I know I'm beating a dead horse, but just the pressure that Carolina applies, like live in person, ice level, what's it like to see as far as how much time and space they take away from the Ottawa Senators?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I think that's their MO, and the biggest thing with Carolina is they're all, I think, minions of Rod Brind'Amour. That's exactly the way that he played. He's got the full buy-in from his team, and there's no space out. They skate and work just as hard on the defensive side of things as they do offensively. And anytime that, you know, you're playing against the Carolina Hurricanes, you're the opposition coach, they just suffocate you. They're in your face. They've got great sticks. They've got that pressure. And, you know, man-on-man, a lot of times it's tough to do in a playoff series, but if any team could do it, you know, it's the Carolina Hurricanes because they've perfected it in a sense, and they've got the buy-in from everybody. Their forwards are so disciplined, and Ottawa's really struggling getting high-quality chances.
Awesome stuff, Mace. Really enjoying the call. We'll let you get back to the actual job that you have to do here.
Great stuff,
All right,
Mace.
thanks, fellas. Thanks, guys.
I love Mace. I feel like we should just keep going back to him, and every time we should roll it up a little further.
Gun show.
Yeah, exactly.
Gun show. He's ready. I like it.
The other working at a speakeasy or something, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe make us a mixed cocktail. Give me an old-fashioned, Mace. But great clip though, as far as Anderson, because if you look at Ottawa during the regular season, they were one of the best forechecking teams. So you essentially take away one of their best attributes, and I think it's all coming down to the details for Ottawa. I mean, you look at post-game comments from Brady. The power play killed us. They get another 5-on-3 today. I know it's only 30 seconds, but it's just sloppy. They can't get set up. More opportunities for Carolina than Ottawa.
0 for 14 on the power play. Since game one, Biz, I'll give you this, 0 for 10. And then those 10 power plays, which were 2 5-on-3s, 5 shots.
Yeah, it's ugly, Liam. And you know, the zone entry, and I know no Sanderson, so that plays a big factor as well, but you just look at how good the sticks are. I mean, Jordan Staal, you can't say enough about him. Look at like just how disruptive they are and how well they work together. Jordan Staal, again, with that long stick in the lane. So it's such a difference in looking in the movement and the execution on the different power plays where you saw Carolina and their ability to stay in the O-zone for essentially the full 2 minutes, and the lack of, I guess, clears that Ottawa was able to do. So it's just like it's a polar opposite that we're looking at right now. And I know we don't have time to look at the clip, but even off of a clean defensive zone win, you see just Carolina closed on them, get it turned over, then they draw the penalty and they go right to the 5-on-4. So it's tough sledding right now for Ottawa.
Yeah, it's the benefit of having those big, long-range D-men. We saw that last clip there, Keandre Miller with that stick check. He led the league in stick checks over the course of the regular season, and it's because he's got that pole vault for a stick. I almost want to grab his stick and clean the leaves out of my pool, Liam, because that stick is so damn long. And as a guy in the power play, it's hard because I could see your body's right there, but then you could use that stick to close the gap. And it's sometimes misleading as a forward of the puck, not understanding how much time and space he has because that stick close
Are you suggesting it is like the Shaq Hyman stick?
It is.
Yes, that we built for Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes. Shaq on with us later on today.
Sometimes you almost
skating through.
Yeah. Sometimes you almost wish they were like more physical as opposed to like always having their stick on the puck, where it's just so frustrating. There he is again, folks. The Vaseline. We haven't seen much of the Vaseline yet, but okay, holy, we're crossbreeding now.
Oh.
They're making him in a lab at this point.
Royal Rumble coming up.
Heisenberg.
The NHL on TNT Sports is brought to you by Geico. It feels good to have a winning team. It feels good to Geico. Alex Faust, the Hall of Famer, Jennifer Bottle. Chris Mason downstairs. Game 4. Must win for the Ottawa Senators. The Carolina Hurricanes looking for a series sweep. And even in a low-scoring series, only the second scoreless period of this series. Carolina looking for a trip to the second round for the 8th straight year.
Well, they are. You've got to think that we should see some urgency now from the Senators, right? At this point, you've got to make sure you're creating. You've got Tkachuk on the ice now. Cousins has generated a few looks throughout this season, but you've got to see them start to press and play with more speed and try to get some attack.
Yeah, I'd like to see them get on the forecheck. They're a really good forechecking team, but establish that, get some good cycle chances, and spend some more time in the Hurricane zone.
Carolina had 35 shot attempts in the first period. That was the most by either team in any period of this series as this puck winds up out of play. Logan Stankoven all over it once again.
Well, you talk about the pressure, and he's on 2-on-1, almost gets it back for the look. Defensive zone, he's going to compete, battle, get inside positioning. This shot release, backhand to forehand, and releases it for the high slot area as the pressure is coming. 3 goals, 1 assist in this series. And Mace, we had a great conversation with Rod Brindamore. He said, this guy's work ethic. He's the first one on the ice. Sometimes we have to tell him to get off the ice because he wants to put so much work in. Asking to watch video. Well, it's certainly paying off for him.
Yeah, he was really complimentary of Logan Stankoven and his work ethic and his commitment to the game and their style of play. He's fit in here seamlessly.
There's when the face-off. Yakimchuk shot is blocked. Shabbat tries to sling it deep. Captured by Chatfield. For Logan Stankoven, by the way, no player has scored an opening goal in 4 straight games to begin a playoff series in NHL history. Scored the opening goal in the first 3 of this series. Senators break it up. Pinto over the line. Drops for Shabbat. Shot misses the target. Amadio from the wall. Shut down by Chatfield. Amadio trying to kick it to his stick. Chatfield to steal. Yakimchuk back together.
So amazing. I mean, the Sens finally get some speed. They get 1 shot on, but there's no puck retrieval.
Yeah.
Right? I feel that's where the pressure. They've got to react quickly after that to maintain pressure.
They need sustained pressure. They've got to get above the puck and continue to pressure, keep that puck in and get more shots just like that one just missed.
Batherson, who has 2 goals out of the 3 that Ottawa scored in this series. Allmark moves it back to center ice. Walker bumped along by Stutzler. Puck comes free. Montenpalo unable to get it. Restart from Fogle. Flutters away from Stutzler. Handled by Anderson. Hall lined up by Fogle. Steal for Batherson. Good stick. Closing back was Jackson Blake. And now Stankoven will turn the corner and ladle it in. Montenpalo shouldered off on the forecheck by Stankoven. Senators retrieve the puck and break out. 3-on-2. Fogle in over the line. Stutzler battling for position against Gostisbehere. And the Hurricanes take it back. Hall through center. Over the line. Drop pass. Nikishin right on. Turned aside by Omar. Cousins battling along the boards with Jankowski. Wins out. Eller unable to clear. Knifed down by Robinson.
Think about that last play defensively for the Hurricanes.
Steal here by Carolina. Jankowski to the circle. Fan shot. Second bid turned away by Allmark after Delorier fanned on the first one.
It always feels like the Hurricanes have an answer. Right? Last rush, Ottawa's coming in. You've got Stutzler trying to get position. And Gostisbehere just angles him out. Takes away the space. And now they're back in the offensive zone.
Chatfield holds. Robinson steers it down low. Gilbert for Eller. As Delorier runs around and connects on a hit with Iller. Cousins on the breakout. Nick Cousins stood up at the line. Stahl trying to pitch it ahead. He had Martinook breaking.
It's such a hard thing to do, but for the Senators, they need to anticipate that pressure is coming so quickly. So whether it's a chip or a close pass like that.
Here's Chabot barging in. Thomas Chabot missed the net. Off the backboards, trying to bat it out in front. And the puck captured by the Hurricanes. The outside will carry it. Shouldered off by Brady Tkachuk. Tkachuk kicks it along. Swung around the boards. Pitching is Sean Walker. His pass just evades Jordan Stahl. Miller tries to glove, and it winds up in the bench.
This is what I'm talking about. If you're receiving a puck, you've got to anticipate and think quickly. Where am I putting this before I get it? That's a quick play at your own blue line, and Chabot gets in for a chance to beat the pressure, and it releases it, and Macy can't quite get it on net, but a nice chance for the Sens.
Yeah, great set, and you could see Anderson there just fading off a little bit. There was room there. He just missed that one. A good read by Brady Tkachuk as well, because the Hurricanes came right back after that. Brady Tkachuk was at the point and made that could have been an odd man situation.
Giroux, outlet pass. Tyler Kleven joins the rush. His bank pass for Pinto. Drifting back to the blue line. Pinto, area play. Kleven on the pinch. Bank pass out of the reach of Giroux. Kept alive by Pinto. Up for grabs. Michael Amadio emerges with it. Curls, dishes. Kleven winds, fires, tip wide by Pinto.
Nice looking shot pass. Kleven found Pinto.
Pinto sends it down low. Giroux walks out, goal line. Opens, passes. He had Amadio on the back door. Amadio to a loose puck. Walks in. Amadio deeks. Dishes. Pass in front. And that wouldn't go. And a scrum breaks out along the boards.
There's a hit on the far side, and this is just fireworks right now. And this is response to it. And we'll see there was no arm up on the initial play as the puck kind of left. And the Hurricanes, we'll see how this gets sorted out, but
Tyler Kleven mixing it up even after that broken jaw he suffered in April at the beginning of the month.
You know, Nikishin is getting up very slowly.
Yeah, he was lying down on the ice still after that hit, and he's having trouble right now.
Yeah, they've got to help him off.
He's in trouble.
And we'll see the referees and the officials are going to huddle up. There is no arm up on the initial play down the wall. As the puck, and this is I just saw it on the Jumbotron there. It's a clear interference or whatever you want to call it. The puck was not in that area. And Nikishin kind of, as you can see, kind of glossy-eyed right now.
The play is under review.
So they're reviewing the call. They're called a 5-minute major. And his head is down, and you see.
That's tough because he has that puck for a second right here, and then he kind of loses it. And that hit right there, the follow through. And then there's the chance right there. Just wide again as Ottawa's really starting to pressure. And it didn't look like he caught the head there, Jen.
It looked shoulder to shoulder, just massive hard contact. And you think about the pressure that the Sens have been putting on. We saw the drive to the net by Chabot, the chance by Pinto on the shot pass. The Pinto look in that slot area, but they just haven't been able to capitalize. So the officials now reviewing that hit.
What's your gut feeling here? Is that a clean hit?
Well, the puck was right there, and I don't know, when you slow it down, it looks like that puck was gone, but Nikishin had that, and Kleven came down the wall, and I don't think he got the head there. On that last angle we saw, it looked like it was shoulder to shoulder right in the chest, but it's going to be interesting to see how they.
And it's so tough, right? When we slow it down, there looks like time, but he was playing the puck, so in real time. And that was just tough to see, right? I mean, he had a tough time getting up. That was, and he's played so well for this team, the Hurricanes.
They're taking their time with this call. So here we go, the headset's coming off. And then the Hurricanes responded after, and we'll see.
A lot of jawing going on from the Hurricanes bench towards Tyler Kleven.
And this is a huge potential turning point here, as both teams looking on, waiting for the decision, and you know it's not easy when the officials are taking this long to decide what the actual call is going to be. Here we go.
Kendrick Nicholson and Eric Furlat. And here's Kendrick Nicholson.
After review, Carolina number 37 has 4 minutes for roughing. Ottawa number 10, 2 minutes for roughing. 5 on 4.
And it goes the other way.
And look at Rod Brindamore. This is, so the hit on the play was not called a penalty. It was the roughing afterwards that's going to get called, and it's going to put the Ottawa Senators on the power play.
Well, that's what you saw in the replay. Obviously concerned for Nikishin because that was so tough on him, but he was playing the puck, just released it, and what we saw on the replay, Mace, we see hear a lot of audio down there, but the shoulder to shoulder is what we saw in the replay.
Delorier is over the bench. He was just right by me. It actually scared the crap out of me there for a second as he was yelling at the Senators bench.
I don't blame you, Mace. He's a large human.
He is a large human, and he was telling the Ottawa Senators bench, you better be ready. And Clevin, I hope you keep that visor on. You better be ready.
So after all of that, no penalty on Clevin. Double minor for Carolina. That sends Ottawa to a power play. Keep in mind their first power play, 0 shots on goal, just 1 attempt in what continues to be an anemic power play throughout this series for the Senators.
Big moment here. Where does the momentum shift, right? The Carolina Hurricanes, their PK has been excellent. But now you've got a chance, right? The crowd is on their feet with a power play opportunity. Big moment.
If there's ever a time to get the first goal on the power play in the series for Ottawa, it's right now.
Face-off win for Carolina. That'll quiet the crowd. Yakimchuk tracks back. Martinuk on him. Yakimchuk to bring it up. Senators 0 for 14. Stutzel to wind it up. Still without a point. Still without a shot attempt. Pinto down the wall. Stick save Anderson. Rebound collected by Stahl. And Stahl lugged this puck into the Senators zone to kill some more clock. Batherson in over the line. Kachuk feeds it off the backboards. Nobody there.
Ottawa just really having the pressure that the Hurricanes put on their penalty kill. Jordan Stahl and company, they just contest that line every single time, and Ottawa can't break the pressure.
And Mace, you've got to think they have to have that support mentality as they're entering. It can't just be one person flying in with speed. Like if you're the second or the third man, you've got to make sure you're in there to support. Well, no surprise, right? There's going to be a little chippiness on both sides. The intensity has certainly raised over the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and I think to your point, Jen, the Ottawa Senators almost need to start chipping pucks in on the power play and trying to get it that way. They've got a good forechecking team, but the ability, they're not getting the entries, they're not getting it skating in. It's been a nightmare in this series for Ottawa getting into the zone, getting set up.
And the biggest surprise, they had scored a power play goal in their final 6 regular season games. Stutzel with Kachuk. Kachuk will chip in charge. Kachuk absorbing the contact. Around it goes. Yakimchuk. Stick shatters out of the hands of Aho. Yakimchuk curls it off the wall. Touch pass. Batherson missed the net.
And Batherson sort of tilts his head back in frustration, but a better entry. They regain possession. You have 3 players below the goal line. They get a good look.
Yeah, they did. And to your point earlier, that you need support, but Brady Tkachuk gets that in the corner. He gets 2-on-1 by the penalty kill. It should be the opposite way. You need more numbers on that puck battle.
Towards the front of the net, it's Ridley Gregg colliding with Anderson, and everybody's going to pile in.
This is getting crazy, guys. I don't know if Greg got Tkachuk's trying to get some right now with Jankowski. They're in the corner alone from the scrum in front of the net as Anderson trying to collect himself. A little bit of a wrestling match there. Nobody wants to take that extra penalty.
Well, even as it stands, the faceoff will come out of the zone because of the defenseman joining the scrum.
The Brady chants are on in the building here.
Good discipline by him, though, as well. You don't want to start throwing punches, take an extra penalty.
Anderson's just checking his stick there, Mace, after a lot of attention around the crease area for him.
Let's see, if he gets pushed in.
He does.
Robinson pushes him in there, and then goes right after him. You got to respect that. The battles, but I feel like right there, I don't know what he's supposed to do. He gets pushed in, and he's going to get an extra penalty here.
Yep. It's going to negate the rest of the 23 seconds of their power play.
But watch this, because Gray gets the chance, and it is definitely Robertson that then pushes him in to Anderson. And then you see all of the scrums happening after that.
Yeah, exactly. So this is tough, and we'll see what the call is. But it's Ridley Gregg is in the penalty box right now, so looks like it's going to even up. The faceoff's going back into Ottawa's end. So a 4-on-4 here for 23 seconds, but that was a tough call.
Goaltender interference is the call.
I mean, what's the argument that he should have made a better effort to try to avoid contact? I still feel like that's a tough situation where he's going to the net with a stick on the ice, trying to generate the offensive chance.
The Ottawa fans are letting him hear it right now.
I mean, contact is made. And for him, I'm not sure there's much else he could have done in that situation. But hey, now we've got coaches fired up on both sides. Here's another look. He's getting a chance. He's standing there.
He didn't really. He got him with the hand. It looked like he tried to jump out of the way. But I mean, like you said, Jen, I'm not exactly sure what Gregg was supposed to do there.
I mean, I guess he ended up a little bit at the top of the crease, but in any situation, we've got some 4-on-4.
Cleven's back on the ice. His first shift since the big hit on Nikishin. Taylor Hall, of course, who hit Jake Sanderson in Game 3, out there as well.
Hall's chatting it up right now before the faceoff.
Win for Stankoven. Shot breaks the stick out of the hands of Miller. Shabbat out of the corner. Cleven now moves it for Eller. Back check from Hall. Miller under pressure. Final seconds of 4-on-4. And a Carolina power play as Jackson Blake is released for the box. Still looking for the first goal of Game 4. Carolina going for the series sweep. Stankoven to Blake. Third power play for the Hurricanes. Walker to Blake. Down low for Hall. Hall looks things over, delayed, and had his pass knocked away.
It's an important read by Cleven because you have the Hurricanes just taking their time, patient with their looks.
Yeah, good jump down on that puck to collapse down and break up that play.
Aho to bring it up. Indirect pass. Jankowski couldn't take it off the wall. And here's Stützle flying out of the zone. Picks it up. Short-handed save by Anderson.
Well, Stützle, he was one of the most consistent in the league in the regular season on speed bursts. And that was a huge one to get in all alone. Massive save by Anderson.
Yeah, big save. I don't think Stützle kind of lost the handle a little bit, and then he was unable to get it elevation on that puck. And Anderson with a big right pad save.
His first shot attempt of the game. Gostisbehere keeps, waits, passes, Ullmark the save. Out of the corner, Aho to Blake, chips it backdoor. Jankowski up for Gostisbehere, fanning on the shot. Jankowski with Ullmark out of position after taking a bump from Blake. Gostisbehere to Jankowski, on for Aho. Final seconds of the power play. Gostisbehere shot, ramps off a stick. We're back to even strength. Gregg out of the box.
Matt Powell still doesn't have a stick, but now he'll get a chance to make the change.
Pinto to take it over the red line and drop it in. Ridley Gregg on the forecheck. Gostisbehere able to delay and connect with Stahl on the outlet. Spinning it to Jarvis. He'll get the puck deep. Yakimchuk is on it. Up the near wall. Tie up. Shabbat wins out. Bouncing puck. Martinuk with a shard of the broken stick laying on the ice. Gregg and Carrier wrangling for position. Stahl lugs it to the corner. Ties up with Yakimchuk. Puck work free. Carrier turns, fires. Olmark keeps the short side post. And Yakimchuk with a high lift, not out. Kept alive by Slavin. Step up from Yakimchuk. Slavin again to keep. Hall driving wide. Good stick by Yakimchuk. And again it hits a piece of a broken stick. The yard sale out there. Tkachuk upended. Fans wanted the penalty. Martinuk creeps in over the line. Serves it to the corner and around it goes. Tkachuk with a big hit in the corner. Taylor Hall the target. And without a helmet. He'll reaffix it. Get back into the play. Another hit by Tkachuk, that time on Chatfield. Bodies flying all over the place. And it's Jackson Blake who's down now. No whistle. Senators dump it in.
Well, two massive hits by Tkachuk.
Here goes a Brady chant again as the physical battle of Game 4 here in Ottawa has been absolutely insane. And Jen, look at him on the forecheck. Boom! Big hit there by Tkachuk. And Delorier's on the ice. He's going after anybody on the Senators bench. And here's hit number 2. Brady Tkachuk again. And here we go.
And Tkachuk wanted a piece of him.
Well, you don't want that trade-off, Delorier Tkachuk. And this is getting crazy, guys, here. Cousins mixed up with Robinson. Everybody's getting in the mix on the ice. And Delorier just trying to get at somebody. Gilbert's holding him up, as well as the linesman. And Brady Tkachuk and Miller, everybody's paired up and starting to slow down here a little bit. Watch out, Delorier. He wants blood right now. He's going after someone.
Well, here's how it started. I mean, you see Tkachuk. And as soon as he gets out there, there's conversation. Back and forth, he gets right into it. I mean, this is after he makes the big hits, though. I mean, Tkachuk, he's got to figure out what he needs to do. But I thought those were two huge hits that he makes to try to create some energy for his team. He's been a little quiet at times in this series, but those were two important hits that he made in the offensive zone just before all these scrums.
Yeah, and you talk about the Ottawa Senators needing to get momentum. That's one way to do it. And Brady Tkachuk, it was no, we'll get the call here.
2-minute minor penalty, roughing. Ottawa number 7, 2-minute minor penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct.
So it's only minor penalties from what I could tell. No misconducts given out.
And there's no coincidence Delorier was out after those massive hits by Brady Tkachuk. It's this building is on fire.
What a game this has turned into. Still deadlocked in Game 4. This all started in the second period with this hard hit from Tyler Kleven on Alexander Nikishin. Not called a penalty. Then Ridley Gregg going hard to the net. And in the most recent stoppage, Brady Tkachuk seeing Nick Delorier and wanting to have a word or two. After all of that, penalties on Tkachuk, Delorier, and Robinson. And it'll be a power play, it appears, for Ottawa.
There you see Brind'Amour. He's losing his mind right now on the final call. I'm not sure he knew that they got the extra penalty on that one until just seconds ago. You can see his reaction to the call there as Ottawa. One of these times they've got to try to find a way to capitalize on their power play, get some traffic, get some pucks on Anderson.
Similar situation to the last scrum following the Nikishin hit, where Ottawa gets the benefit. Face-off win for the Hurricanes. Fourth power play for the Senators. Still over for the series.
You got to think about those second effort moments, like off the drop. You don't win it clean. You've got to be the guy, the player that gets in quickly to win the race and the battle of the puck.
Jordan Stahl again.
Stahl with the active stick, forcing Yakupchuk to the outside. Centering pass, fanning on it is Pinto. Yakupchuk keeps it alive. Batherson for Ridley Gregg. Keep in mind, no Brady Tkachuk. He's sitting for 2. Yakupchuk, checked by Stahl. Forced off his feet, scrum develops. And the Senators force it to the neutral zone. Batherson upended. Penalty on Carolina.
Wow.
Well, you see Yakupchuk at the blue line, too. You got a young player in, and that pressure comes for him. But eventually it's Batherson who jumps in to help to regain possession. And now another call against the Hurricanes.
It's going to be Jordan Stahl right there on the trip. Batherson goes down, and another 5-on-3 for the Ottawa Senators. A minute 12 of 5-on-3.
And some communication happening here on the bench for the Senators. Mace, to your right, to make sure that they're all ready, that they're on the same page, because we did not see a lot of cohesion in game 3 or earlier in this game with a shorter 5-on-3 opportunity. They have more time now to try to maximize this chance.
And this is a do-or-die game for the Ottawa Senators. They have to win this game in order to extend the series. So this moment right here, the utmost importance for Ottawa.
Ready. It's 5-on-3. Jump in to help. Outman every situation.
Ottawa had 1 shot on their 5-on-3 in game 3. None on the earlier one today. Giroux looks it over, plays it out in front, off a stick. Shabbat trying to dodge the check from Aho, who strips him of the puck.
Okay, well, credit to Aho for that battle, but if you're Shabbat, there is no way you should lose that battle.
5-on-3, you got to outman them, you got to outwork them. I know it's special teams is a skill game, but you got to outwork this Carolina penalty kill.
Shabbat, a pass down low, looking for Batherson. Into the corner, intercepted by Slavin and cleared down ice. Half a minute. Still with a 2-man advantage for the Senators. Looking to break a scoreless tie. Bank pass. Giroux nudges it to the backboard. Batherson settles. Feeds Giroux. Batherson again. Giroux shooting in tight. Save Anderson. Rebound swept out.
Well, that'll finish the majority of the 5-on-3. But the Sens, they have to stay sharp, not feel frustrated. You still now got a man advantage.
Giroux feathers it to the corner. Batherson in pursuit, shoulder to shoulder with Chatfield. Ottawa comes away with it. Shabbat trying to join the play. Collision down in the corner is Jackson Blake. Shabbat moves it along. Giroux winds, fires, kicked out by Anderson. Shabbat, still a half minute on the Senators' power play. Around the horn, touch pass back for Giroux. It comes to Shabbat at the blue line. Giroux walks out from the hashes. Shabbat from the point. Stutzla centers. Cousins turned out by Anderson. Rebound kept alive. Cousins a drive off a skate to the corner. 10 seconds left in the power play. Giroux fans on a pass. And Aho will guide it out. Carolina kills another 2-man advantage. Blake hard on the forecheck, gets to the puck. Shabbat down along the backboards as this puck is put out of play.
Oh, we've got to go to Mace. How about those saves, Mace?
Incredible stuff from Freddie Anderson. Just a wall in this series.
Coach, crazy game. The physicality in this second period is off the charts. Tell me about your team's response to it.
I like it. I like our game right now. I like our first period. I really like this period. Obviously, I'd like to get one on the power play. It's a hell of a game right now.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, the fight has been there, no doubt, from the Ottawa Senators. Rod Brind'Amour showing his displeasure with the penalty situation this period.
Well, Travis Green, he likes the way that his team is playing. And you see some of that intensity on the other bench. But the Sens, you think about how things have shifted in this second period. It's the Sens, in terms of scoring chances, out-chancing the Hurricanes 6-1 so far in the second.
Yeah, they've responded. And you have to give the Senators a lot of credit. They blocked 18 shots in the first period, and they held on, and it felt like Carolina was trying to end that series in the first period. They were able to endure that, and then really, with their physicality, I think have shifted the momentum here in the second, and this game has been absolutely insane.
Mace, to your point, the Senators had 18 blocks in all of Game 3.
And they had to get into those lanes, because in the first period they did spend so much time in their own zone because of that pressure from the Hurricanes. But you think about how they've responded here in the second period, and that massive hit that Clevin makes on Nikishin. And in front of the net there, Gray going for the chance, dealing with the scrums afterwards. And these were the two big hits by Tkachuk. You're thinking about trying to keep the momentum going for your team. That was the first on the shift. He made another one. And you can see, Green, he's feeling the intensity as well.
Stankoven against Pinto on this faceoff. Stankoven wins it back. Walker could not keep the zone.
You think of when these two teams match up, they play very similar styles, but if you want to give an advantage to Ottawa, it is in that physicality, and I don't think they've really established it as much in this series as they can. Now today, it's been a different story in the do-or-die situation. It's really got Carolina off their game a little bit and focused on other things other than playing hockey, although their penalty kill has been absolutely dialed.
Senators win this draw. Spence outlets. Deflected deep. Tkachuk barrels into Sean Walker.
That's more good Tkachuk. He was sharp off the draw, zips it back to the D, gets up the ice quickly for a deep hit.
Cousins in tight, off the backhand, couldn't tuck it past Anderson. Stankoven to chip in charge. Stankoven beaten to it by Shabbat. Feeds it up the wall. Miller holds the zone. Stankoven out of the corner. A pass through the blue, out the other side. Hall to Walker. Hard pass away from Hall. Dylan Cousins, reverse hit on Blake. Puck came free, and Miller shoots to the breadbasket of Allmark.
Here's the last chance. We talked about the pressure that Tkachuk created, and then it's Cousins right in front. You get a stick coming back from Blake to prevent it, but it's Cousins looking for it. And this is why he pressures off the neutral zone win. Hard hit on Walker, and from there you find Cousins finding the space in front.
Yeah, we talked about that in the second intermission with the boys on the desk. They're starting to chip into areas they can get it, establish their forecheck, and right there, Brady Tkachuk, it's starting to open up chances, getting to the interior. Carolina's done a good job of recovering, but they're starting to get a lot more quality looks.
6.5 to go, and a scoreless second. From off this draw, a couple of stick lifts, and Pinto outlets for Giroux. Tosses it cross ice. Mario shields, slips it back behind. Slavin is on it. Aho along the wall, and he'll lift it to the blue line, knocked down with a high stick by Ottawa. Pinto right back in, centering pass. Giroux driving to the net, trying to stuff it in. Costas Bear feathers it to the far boards. Aho, a hard pass, allows the Hurricanes to leave the zone. Could be a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Svechnikov darting in, good stick by Clevin. Clevin now. Trying to feed it ahead. Couldn't hit the intended target. Stahl to bank it deep. Montenpalo is on it. Clevin banked it back to center, absorbed a big hit, getting the puck out. Nick Cousins in down the wall. Rink wide feed. Spence a drive off a stick and wide. Gilbert back across for Jordan Spence. His pass shut down by Carrier. Cousins is stick check. Guy to the head, down the wall.
Much better second effort by the Sens. Nick Cousins is coming at the blue line, gets inside positioning, and that's the battle that they need.
Stretch pass for Zetterlund as Ottawa makes a change. Checked by Robinson. Zetterlund keeps on ticking. Cousins swoops in. Spence now back down low for Nick Cousins. Jordan Spence, a one-timer blocked. Hurricanes will skate it out. Robinson pitches it ahead. He has Jankowski. A man breaking. They score! Taylor Hall with the breakthrough in Game 4. 1-0 Carolina.
he ends up being all alone. I mean, this feels like the story of the series where the Sens get a little energy and they're getting chances. It's a block in their own zone. And if you watch Hall find the open space on the top of your screen and then he decides to jump in, there is no coverage. The nice backhand pass and the shot by Hall. I mean, that's where Travis Green is going to be frustrated because he talked about getting those chances, but you don't have the coverage back in your defensive zone. But Hall, to continue the story for this team and how well he's played.
Well, credit Mark Jankowski. He was the one that blocked that shot. He got up, went to the neutral zone, got the puck back, and then took that pressure over and slid it right over to Hall, right on the stick. As Ullmark was trying to, he was still in motion when that came over, and Hall tucked it between the legs. Big play there by Jankowski to start it all.
Taylor Hall, who entered this game as public enemy number 1 in the city of Ottawa, has the opening goal. Jackson Blake having to be pushed back.
He's going to the other side. He's going to the other side here.
Carrier and Fogle line up next to one another. Warren Fogle, the former Kane. The Senators win the faceoff. Batherson now. No shield the puck. No stick momentarily for Slavin. Shabbat on the reload. Fogle to send it deep. Anderson to cut it off. Anderson for Blake. He'll scoot it back to the red line. Shabbat lifted ahead. He takes a spill. Looking around for a penalty. None given. Blake centering pass. Maybe one pass too many. Stankoven at the net front as Ullmark goes back from post to post. He was out of position and had to make a pad save.
Fortunate on that one because from our angle up here, it looked like there was a lot of open net. But fortunate for the Sens, the Hurricanes don't capitalize.
Deflected in. Gostisbehere reverses along the backboard as Tkachuk collides with Aho away from the puck. Up for grabs near boards. Montempallo kept it alive briefly. And Carolina will lift it out. Walker and Cousins with words as that puck gets sent back to the Senators zone. Tkachuk checked by Walker. Penalty. And Walker's going to go off.
Here we go again. The physicality in the Carolina Hurricanes trying to answer the physical battle. Sean Walker runs Brady Tkachuk right into the boards. And they'll be going off for another power play coming up to the Ottawa Senators.
1-0 Carolina. The Stanley Cup playoffs on TNT Sports are presented by Geico. Don't forget, this is just game 1 of our triple header on TBS. Dallas leading the series with the Wild 2-1, and then tonight, potential clincher with the Flyers and the Penguins on TBS, and then tomorrow games on TNT beginning at 2 o'clock. 6th power play for the Senators. A steal here for Carolina. Slavin in the middle. Stahl! Put it wide. Loose puck. Played back down in front. And nearly a same-team collision there with Ullmark.
So this is the risk, I guess, the gamble that you put Yakimchuk at the blue line. I mean, he's just got to understand your pass has to be a given.
Shane Pinto along the perimeter. Yakimchuk. To Brady Tkachuk. One-timer. Stutzla. Score! Batherson! Tie game!
What a play by Batherson. And here was the save, because this is the pressure on the soft Yakimchuk play. And it's a 2-on-1. And it just goes wide, and then you go back and you transition to the other end. And what a response by Yakimchuk to set it up, and then this is where you see Batherson driving hard to the net to get inside positioning in front of Chatfield. Huge play.
Finally, the Ottawa Senators power play has struck in this series to tie the game, and a huge save by Linus Ullmark. And the Senators come back to tie this one. 2:52 left in the second.
The headbutting going on before the draw. There is intensity everywhere on the ice.
under 2 minutes from the Carolina goal to the tying goal for the Senators. And at long last, that Ottawa power play finally has a breakthrough. But we're right back where we started in a tie game. Anderson wandering out to play this puck.
And you think about that play and how huge that is for Stützle too. You know, he's had moments of frustration for this Sens team, and for him with the blast and the primary assist on the Batherson goal.
Yeah, that could be huge for him. Obviously, goal scorers, and just getting a point on that goal was such a big factor in this game, and for maybe the confidence on their power play.
First point of the series for Stützle. Shabbat tried to bank it ahead for Cousins, picked off by Stankoven and tossed towards goal. Spence collects the rebound, rubs off the hit from Carrier. Stankoven checks his man, and we got another big hit in the neutral zone. And another scrum develops. There is a penalty on the play.
The Hurricanes are going to get the initial call here. Brady Tkachuk came in, threw a few kidney shots before it went down to the ice. So we'll see how this gets sorted out, but this game is insane. It's crazy, the physicality, and Carolina really trying to answer that, but there's a line right now, and they're going over the edge with that, and to be another potential power play for the Senators.
And so Travis Green, I mean, he was upset that they didn't call a 5 on the initial play in Game 3 when Sanderson got hurt. And so you see him tonight calling for the 5.
It got all the way up to the owner, who was upset that there wasn't A, a 5-minute major, and B, supplemental discipline.
And so here's Greg waiting for the pass.
There's no question that's a penalty, but does anyone else? Cousins comes in. So
they call it a minor.
Yep.
So they're just calling it a 2-minute minor for boarding.
Yep.
I mean, I'd agree with that call.
And now
but then
Green's asking for 5. I'm not sure he's going to get it once they've made the call already here, but Ottawa just coming off scoring their first power play goal, feeling good, have some momentum. We'll see how the Hurricanes respond. The pressure on their penalty kill is just so impressive to watch live. There's no space. There's no time to make plays. Even 5-on-3, Jen, I think they're the most aggressive team in the National Hockey League on the penalty kill.
Absolutely. But now, the Sens, are they going to be a new team where they finally got one much needed power play goal? And so now you've got another opportunity here shortly after. And I feel like confidence can be a huge asset. Can they build upon that?
Third minor penalty for Sean Walker in this game. It comes a minute 13 after the tying goal for the Senators on their last power play. Their 7th man advantage of the game.
So they stick with Yakimchuk on this unit. He was the one that got the second assist on the Batherson goal, so maintaining the confidence in him.
Yakimchuk got some power play time towards the end of the regular season. Only 4 regular season games to his name in the NHL.
But generate 2 points in those 4 games.
Steal here. Martinook with the strip. 3-on-2 for Carolina, shorthanded. Chatfield tried to feed Martinook out in front. Good stick by Pinto. Broke the stick out of the hands of Martinook. Final minute of a wild second period. Batherson holding, playing it towards the point, just out of the reach of Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk to wind it up, fed it into the skates of Batherson. Carolina will clear.
The discipline and the pressure that the Hurricanes put on coming into the line, it is tough. It's been tough for Ottawa to get entries.
Stützle, back pass. Giroux tried to swivel one up the middle.
So now you've got to get 2 hard in and quickly once you get it deep.
Shabbat ran into the referee.
I think they're better off doing that, Jen. Just chipping that puck in, going to get it. They did the cross-corner chip there a couple entries ago, and they got the puck back, but every time they try to skate it in, Carolina's up there defending.
Greg for Cousins in the final seconds of the period. Greg took a spill. Another penalty on the Hurricanes.
Oh, wow. Chatfield trying to get someone to retaliate here, and could be a potential high sticking situation, as Greg was looking for blood on his lip. I don't think there is any. So another 2-minute penalty at the end of the second here. Crazy.
There's a look at the AT&T connected cam, and as Greg is carrying the puck, and you just see Robinson there not in control of the stick, and it clips Greg in the face.
It's tough. He's just reaching around and just kind of rode up the shaft of his stick there and continued on, and a high sticking play. So we'll see if they have enough time here off the face-off. And Linus Ullmark, he's still in the net. I was going to see if they took him off the ice.
3.6, that's an awful long time. It'll be the third two-man advantage for the Senators today.
And Jordan Stahl's been money on these draws as well, shorthanded.
Well, they're hoping that Stützle puck. That's where Giroux wants to go.
Giroux against Stahl. Two salty veterans. Andrew Smith to drop this puck. Giroux gets kicked out. Pinto in to take it, and Stahl wins it back. That'll end 2 periods of play. 21 seconds of a two-man advantage will carry into the third. What a wild second period of action. And we're all tied a goal apiece here in Game 4.
ISO cam. Yes! Oh my God. You gotta eat your broccoli.
This is normal life.
Great content, huh?
Biggest stage.
Discover intermission report in a period that was jam-packed with chaos and carnage. Brady Tkachuk crushing Taylor Hall opening the scoring. And then, of course, on the other end, it's Tkachuk taking the high stick. And now, finally, the power play breaks through for Ottawa. 1 for 17 on the series. Drake Batherson, the equalizer. Ottawa attempting to avoid the sweep. Carolina looking to end things. 11 two-minute minors in that second period, no majors, and one player may be very lucky about that. It's Liam McHugh. Paul Bissonnette checking his pulse. Are you okay?
I'm about 200 beats per minute right now. That was a very, very intense.
Which is high even for you.
I feel like I drank all the coffee you normally drink, Liam. That was absolutely chaos and pandemonium. We could just roll the clip.
Anson Carter, shall we just take a look at this right now? Let's go. Discover highlights. Let's go through all of this because there's a whole lot that went down physically in this one. Maybe one of the biggest hits we've seen in this postseason.
Clean.
And it's clean. Tyler Clevin lights up Alex Nikishin. You see the reverse angle there. Oh.
Clean.
Right
we're watching that in the back, and we were going crazy. Clean, Biz. Drove right through him. Look at Svechnikov.
Yeah, and the proper response from his teammates. Obviously, you want to come in and aid, and obviously on the aftermath, they had to figure things out. Little bit of a shot there on Anderson. More of the chaos ensues. This is another clean hit. Taylor Hall trying to avoid the Brady train coming through. Another scrum ensues. There's a high stick on Brady, and as you mentioned, Liam, they finally capitalize on the power play right here. This is Walker trying to get retribution on Greg. Hit from behind. They're asking for 5 minutes here. Absolutely not, especially at the fact that Greg shouldn't even be in this hockey game right now. He's bleeding. Everybody's bleeding. A lot of people are bleeding their own blood.
But it's Greg right now.
And that's the thing, because Sean Walker's sitting there, and he's taking those penalties at the end of the period. He shouldn't get 5, and he's saying what you're saying. And I think you have a lot of people saying what you're saying, which is, why is Ridley Gregg still in this game? Because we're going to take a look at something. During the, I would say, the major almost line brawl out there, you see Ridley Gregg engage with a player who is already engaged, Sean Walker, with Fogle.
This is the aftermath after Brady hit Hall. As they're going back towards the bench, we're going to roll it. And this is
well, this is the goalie interference.
This is the goalie interference.
Which Greg gets his hand
That's the accidental
up.
on purpose. Yeah. He definitely tries to take out Freddie Anderson. Without a doubt. Look at the right hand, Liam. We're talking in the back. If you're getting cross-checked in the crease, your first reaction is to put your hands to protect yourself.
But this is what I'm talking about.
There's the punch. And watch right here.
This is a no-no. That's a 5-gamer in my opinion. I don't know. Obviously, player safety is going to take a look at that. And mind you, like when there's scrums going on, folks, sometimes you'll have two guys that are tied up, and you'll have one guy behind another guy, and he's giving them little rabbit punches, and that type of stuff is gamesmanship. It was happening in parts of the other scrum. But when Fogel's got Walker in a headlock like that, for you to just give a flat-out uppercut like that, that is absolute BS. That's the type of thing when it's not called. I would be so fired up that after the game, I might even be at the other locker room waiting for him to walk out. That's just me personally. Obviously, Walker wants his retribution now. Delorier was salivating. He put more Vaseline on his face, and he's ready to throw down. But if you're Carolina right now, you just got to try to keep a calm head. As hard as it is in this situation, Ace, you have to keep a calm head. You can't keep doing a parade to the penalty box and giving Ottawa opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. You win the game, figure out afterward, and live to fight another day, and then get the guys like Ehlers and those guys healthy with a proper amount of rest.
I think both teams, I mean, it's an elimination game right now for the Ottawa Senators. So Brady Tkachuk, who's their physical leader, he can't afford to be taken off the ice. So he wants to, yes, get retribution, but he's going to stay on the ice and stay in the hockey game. Carolina Hurricanes, Nikishin's out. So you want to make sure you get enough rest for him to get back in the series too, for the next series, excuse me, not this series right now. So I think both teams are motivated to make sure they're focused. Yes, play physical. Yes, try to get your payback, but do it within the whistles and make sure no one gets kicked out of the game.
Bottom line, Ridley Gregg, if the refs see that, should he be thrown out of this game? And since it didn't happen, does Ridley Gregg deserve supplemental discipline?
I think he's getting a fine. I'm not sure if he's getting suspended for this. I think he's getting fined. I think he's getting $5,000 fine. I don't know if he's getting suspended because Walker didn't leave the game. It's not like he knocked out Walker.
I know,
and
but
Walker
Ace,
left
come on,
the
the guy's got a headlock around him and he's sucker. Look at that. That's a straight up uppercut sucker punch. Like that is BS. This isn't a rabbit punch in the back.
That's happened so many different times during games. Guys get sucker punches.
Show me a clip of that happening in a prior game, and I would love to see it. He's getting
suspended for sure, 100%. I mean, he's getting fined for sure. I don't know about 5-game suspension. He's definitely getting fined. I see a $5,000 fine.
But do you see guys?
I don't see him
do you see guys in scrums where two guys are engaged? One guy sees they're both engaged, skates over and gives an uppercut. You see
not
that?
as blatant as that, but you.
I mean, that was worse. That was worse. You'd have to say cheap shots. Yeah, but that was blatant. That's different level, right?
100%. But I don't think.
And it's a player with a reputation,
yes,
right?
Well, that's why we were arguing back and forth with Freddie Anderson if he took him out purposely. I thought 100% because when you get hit in the crease like that, your first reaction, get your hands up to protect yourself so you're not eating the crossbar.
He knows.
He gets one hand up and his other hand goes to give Freddie Anderson a little face wash.
Credit Ottawa. They drug him into the mud now, and it's a game, and they're engaged in this series, and they have life. So they played their style of period, and they did a great job. They executed on their power play. So not to take anything away from them, this is awesome. This is entertaining. I just don't like to see that Ridley Gregg stuff.
Oh, nobody does.
That like I said, that should be a 5-gamer.
Our friend, the human gentleman.
Maybe 2 for playoffs, but because they value him a little higher.
You're worried about that? I'm worried about the veins in Rod Brindamore's neck. They're popping out. He hasn't blinked in about 2 periods. And we got 3rd period in Ottawa. Huge stakes. The Senators trying to stay alive. Canes trying to end this thing.
Transmission or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the National Hockey League is prohibited.
Ottawa beginning the 3rd on a 2-man advantage. Our real difference maker delivered by Chipotle Mix.
0 for 17 on the power play in this series until this one here. Number 18, great exchange up top. They've had trouble with the entries, but good puck movement. Yakupchuk over to Stützle. Batherson goes hard to the net, and the Senators tie the game on that huge power play goal.
21 seconds carrying over on the 5-on-3 into the 3rd in a tie game. Senators playing with their season on the line.
And Stützle, you think about his confidence now. He's been chatting it up with Yakupchuk to get ready for this power play opportunity.
Here is Stützle carrying the puck deep. Stick check by Slavin. Could not clear. Tkachuk knocked it down. Tkachuk darts behind the net. Walker escapes the box. And the puck deflects out of play. Still a minute 34 for the Senators on their power play.
You just saw Stützle. Earlier in the second, Stützle had the break chance where he got in all alone. And even on that goal, they ended up scoring. The confidence, the assertiveness to carry it forward. And a huge one-timer before Batherson gets a piece of it. So Stützle, like I said, directing traffic just before they drop the puck, looking like he's ready.
Tie up, Tkachuk off his feet. Yakupchuk fires, save. Anderson, no rebound.
Well, there's a good battle there, Jenny. You talked a lot about the support on the faceoffs, and Jordan Staal has taken so many faceoffs, and there's the support coming in. Ottawa wins that one. They're trying to get traffic. Anderson is able to see that as Yakupchuk fires away. And good rebound control there by Anderson as well.
Right, Mace, you see Pinto jumping in. He's ready, and he ended up winning that battle to bring it back.
Another face-off win. Yakupchuk rolls it to the corner. Off the stick of Batherson. Slavin cancels Tkachuk, and the puck tossed down ice. Yakupchuk to bring it up with Stützle. Batherson dishing. Yakupchuk for Stützle. On for Pinto. Saucer pass settled by Stützle out of the corner. Then he turns it over to Aho.
He bumped into the referee there.
Aho trying to slip it towards the net. He had Jarvis breaking. Tkachuk breaks his stick. Aho carries in. Aho misses the net. Stützle, a 3-on-2 for the Senators with Ridley Gregg. Stützle centers. It bounces over the stick of Gregg. You heard Biz talking during the intermission. You saw the extra punch that Gregg got in the altercation midway through the period as this puck is shot off the glass out of play.
I know, Alex, I was wondering if you got to join in the conversation that he and Ace were having, but here's the broken stick by Tkachuk, and Aho with the release looking for the top shelf, and it sails wide.
Yeah, pressure. I mean, when you're playing the Carolina Hurricanes, you have to be ready for 60 minutes of nonstop pressure. Again, 5-on-3, just so aggressive. That filtered into the 5-on-4. It's just there's no room. There's no time out there for Ottawa. I thought their entries were actually better on that 5-on-4 coming in, making those little soft little chip plays and coming in with speed.
Zetterlund, rink wide, Shabbat pulling drag, save Anderson, long rebound, Martinuk to lift it out. Dylan Cousins to track it down. Final seconds of this Ottawa power play. A lot of special teams time here in game 4. Cousins gets by the stick check of Blake. Back to even strength. Robinson out of the box. Puck swept in his direction. It bounces away and Shabbat will get it. Shabbat and Jordan Spence reset. Gregg unable to get the puck deep. Slavin cross ice counter out of the reach of Blake and down for an icing. This series, the Hurricanes have not trailed. And in fact, you look at the time in the lead, Ottawa has spent a good chunk of it chasing.
That's crazy. I mean, it's been a low event in terms of offensive production in this series, but you know, Carolina's been the one, and they talk about the margins being so small. Carolina's been the one that's been in control of this series.
Carolina, they're so good defending. I mean, you think about the sticks, the body positioning, and that's just how they play. They play the two-way style where everybody's invested. Yeah, so many plays, they just get a piece of it to intercept and to interrupt plays that the Senators are trying to create, and it sort of stifles you as a team.
Yeah, exactly. Even when Ottawa gets into the interior, they don't have time. There's somebody always, you know, up in their grill, taking away any opportunity to get a clean look at the net. And you know, when they have, Freddie Anderson's been there to answer the bell.
Pinto apparently didn't get a piece of this. It's icing on Ottawa.
The eye test. It used to be all fans had to analyze the game, but with NHL Edge, fans get access to advanced stats through puck and player tracking, using millions of data points to compare player speed, power, and impact. See for yourself all playoffs long at NHL.com/edge.
There have been only 2 opening round sweeps in the last 4 years combined. We could have 2 completed today. There were 0 sweeps in the entire Stanley Cup playoffs last season. Ottawa trying to force a game 5 as this puck gets sent back to the Hurricane zone. DeAndre Miller is on it. Backed out of the zone by Gostisbehere. Jarvis trying to round the corner. Clevin stays with him. Svechnikov joins. Pass hits a stick. Bounces back to neutral ice. Clevin, stretch pass. Stützle gathers, center, Giroux right on. Tough save for Anderson.
It's another good setup by Stützle. Recognize the middle drive.
Angled out of the reach of Batherson. Stahl. Play this deep. Carrier pursues. Stahl beaten to it. Stahl gets the steal. Jordan Stahl shoots off the stick of Giroux, who recovered to get the block.
Well, Anderson had to be sharp on that last attempt in the stretch pass down the ice, and that's where Stützle settles it. And he sees that he's got Giroux striding in, and I love that second effort to make sure Giroux gets a solid piece of it.
That's a tough save, too, for Anderson. It was kind of a sweep. He was kind of almost diving forward and just sweeping that puck. It's tough to read, and another big save. Big Freddie Anderson using his size there to knock that one away.
Lars Zeller on this faceoff against Mark Jankowski, who gets kicked out. He'll instead be Eric Robinson. The Senators win it. Hard around from Spence. Cut off in the neutral zone by Walker. Jankowski is on it. Robinson serves it up the wall. Taken away by Nick Cousins. Lobs it to the red line. Chipped in by Zetterlund. Couldn't get it deep. Here comes Robinson, stepping up through center. Robinson drags it around the defender and put it on goal. Allmark stayed on his post.
Yeah, Robinson catches Spence on his heels.
Svechnikov with a steal. Svechnikov darts below the goal line, sends it out in front. Couldn't connect with a Kane. Shot well wide by Chatfield. Svechnikov centers through Jankowski, kept by Chatfield. Slavin walks across. Slavin for the off wing as he drifts to the corner. Chatfield well below the goal line. Jankowski checked by Eller. Penalty coming on Ottawa. And Carolina will have a power play.
Slash behind the net on Chatfield.
Yeah, and Chatfield's coming behind the net, and it's Chabot as he slams the
number
gate.
72, 2-minute minor penalty, slashing.
And here's the play, right? Chatfield's going to try to play the puck, and instead of getting possession, it's Chabot with the slash. So a game with many penalties called already. It's now an opportunity for the Hurricanes.
So much for the myth about putting away the whistles in the playoffs.
Right? 16th minor penalty of the game. And the 4th power play for the Hurricanes. Tie up on the draw. Carolina wins it. Gostisbehere plays it down low. Hurricanes 0 for 3 on the man advantage. Ridley Gregg had to dig it free out of the corner. Clevin serves it up the wall, kept by Gostisbehere. Worked across to Aho. And flip it back to the line. Aho gets the return pass. Jarvis back to Aho. Gostisbehere. Aho back across, one-timer, Svechnikov, and he golfs it out of play.
Well, this power play looking in control. You think about Aho taking the time and space, Svechnikov just making sure he's lined up to release. And I mentioned this composure by both Jarvis and Aho. They don't rush because they know he's got options. And you see Aho, he's got Jarvis down low, and that opens up the seam across to Svechnikov, and his blast just goes high and wide.
Stahl against Eller. Stahl wins out. Gostisbehere backpedals along the line. Aho feeds it down low. Svechnikov back to Aho. Gostisbehere moves in. Leaves it for Jarvis. Gostisbehere will come to a halt. Long pass. Aho a drive wide. Gostisbehere keeps it alive. Stahl checked. Puck comes free. Svechnikov lunging after it. Carolina keeps it alive. Gostisbehere walking the line. Out of the skates of Aho. And cycles down low. Stahl now behind the net. Angles it to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere gets a return feed. Working with Aho down the wall. Sebastian Aho. Or Svechnikov. Svechnikov closed down on by Clevin, who got the steal.
a key player. But I talked about more of the skill guys, but you also see Stahl. He gets the puck retrieval, settles a puck down to go from low to high. You certainly notice his presence on that power play.
Especially winning the last 2 faceoffs as well.
Hall carries over the line. Blake glides, passes, gets a return. Blake inching in, Stankoven off the cycle. Final seconds of the power play. Miller up top, feeds it to the perimeter. Good stick by Gregg, and it's chipped ahead by Gilbert back to neutral ice as the Senators have killed it off. No shots for Carolina on that power play. Stankoven shouldered off by Amadio. Spence to rifle it in, kicks off a stanchion, and it's gloved by Anderson at the side of his net.
Well, a really important penalty kill for the Sens, right? To think about all that time and control, but they didn't allow any shots on net.
Just about 15 minutes out for puck drop in St. Paul. Dallas Stars, Minnesota Wild, game 4 of that series. Coming up, it'll begin on True TV. And then tonight on TBS, the Flyers and the Penguins in game 4. Philadelphia looking to complete the sweep. Tomorrow on TNT, we begin with the Sabres and the Bruins, and then the Avalanche with a 3-0 series lead on the Los Angeles Kings as Quinn Hughes gets ready in the state of hockey. We've got business to settle here. Carolina up 3-0 in this series, looking to complete the sweep. Yakimchuk carries it around the net, turns and shoots. Save Anderson, rebound pushed wide.
How's that for composure from Yakimchuk? Your first NHL playoff game, your 5th overall NHL game. With patient skill, driving to the net.
He's been impressive in this one.
He's had to be. Carrying off the backboards. Aho is on it. Steers it to the line. Walker for Miller. Back across. Aho navigating the middle. Sebastian Aho centering pass. Couldn't reach Marknam. Svechnikov into the corner. Centering. Aho turned out in tight. Walker up top. Walker pulls the trigger. Allmark's got it.
Oh, Carolina buzzing around the zone and getting some pressure, getting a good cycle, get that puck up top. And then Allmark with the save, Jen.
Look at that Svechnikov play. Off the skates to his stick and keeps driving low and then finds Aho in the slot for the grade A. This line, they can find each other. Look at the toe save.
What a save.
Allmark just in time recognizing that shot coming through. We've talked about the goaltenders, and they have been tremendous.
They've been great. Both guys, I mean, you look at the numbers, but the saves and when they're making them, I mean, this series has been crazy. It's crazy to think Allmark doesn't have a win with the numbers and how well he's played in the series.
There's win the draw. You ring it around the boards. Pinto forced to backtrack. Montpaulo for Clevin. Matteo coughed it up. And the Hurricanes set up shop again. A centering pass from Aho. Couldn't reach Jarvis. Battle behind the net. Clevin hauls down his man, Svechnikov, and it'll be a penalty on Clevin. Power play for Carolina.
And he's shaking his head, but in these situations, when we think about the intensity, the saves again by Allmark, there's the AT&T connected cam.
It was almost like Svechnikov put his head right into the arm and then went down. That is a tough one.
So tough.
And Clevin's still shaking his head on that one, but it looked like, and you can see Travis Green as well, it almost looked like Svechnikov just put his head right in that little triangle there in his arm and then went down and drew that penalty. Give Svechnikov credit.
5th power play for the Hurricanes. I don't know if we've given enough credit to this Ottawa penalty kill because they've shut down the Carolina power play. Off the draw, Hurricanes control. Carolina 0 for 4. Blake for Hall, centering, Miller denied. Active stick in the low slot from Shabbat. Blake on the hashes. Hall in tight, leaves it. Blake in tight, save Allmark, trying to cover the the rebound, and he gets the whistle.
Well, you think this is their other unit now for the Hurricanes, right? You had their unit with Aho, Svechnikov in their previous power play chance. They had lots of time, lots of possession time, but a little on the exterior of the ice. And now you have Hall and Blake and Stankoven looking for each other and driving in and getting in tight. And Blake just takes that space. It's Allmark with a nice glove save.
Yeah, another good save. And one commonality, though, Jordan Staal taking the faceoffs. He wins another one on the power play. It's crazy how many faceoffs he's been taking. Rod Brindamore, obviously going against the Senators, who are a very strong faceoff team, but it's always Jordan Staal out there for the Hurricanes in important faceoffs.
Carolina for the series 1 for 14 on the man advantage, including today. Faceoff win, Stankoven for Blake. Hall, centers, Staal, and Molmark with another save.
Oh, Staal has sort of stood there after taking the shot. Can't believe he couldn't capitalize. But just a great look from down low. Hall just seeing the ice, finding that area, and it's Staal all alone in the high slot. Glove save yet again by Allmark.
I have no idea how he saw this one. Look at the traffic in front of him. Staal thinks he's got a goal. Might have just went in the glove, and that's a lot of times when the goalie will give the old windmill there, but what a save by Linus Allmark.
Allmark, 27 saves in game 1, 46 in game 2, 25 in game 3. The best playoff series of his career, and yet he hasn't won a game in this series.
That's unbelievable.
Bested by Freddie Anderson on the other end. Stankoven dishing for Miller. Blake back to Miller. Everything along the perimeter for Carolina. Miller lets it fly wide. Stankoven scores off the backboards. Logan Stankoven has done it again. A power play goal for the Hurricanes, and they take a 2-1 lead.
Okay, so earlier we spoke about the quickness of Stankoven and how quick that release was, but also he wins a key draw. You think about him coming in, playing center for the first time with this roster, and that is a massive battle win off the faceoff. Look at the work that he does, second effort to make sure he wins it back to Miller, stays active, gets another touch, and then eventually as that puck comes around, it's that quickness. He's staying active and engaged, but he reads where the puck is going, and he doesn't take very much time. There are not a lot of players can make that. Look, it's almost between his legs, and gets the quick release to beat Allmark.
What an incredible sequence there by Stankoven as he was moving around that zone, and to get that shot off on net by Logan Stankoven to take the lead. Wow.
His 4th of the series. He now has goals in 6 of his last 7 playoff games, dating back to last year. Logan Stankoven on the power play. Carolina has taken the lead, nearing the midway point of the 3rd. Aho for Slavin. Sharp angle bid with Svechnikov on the doorstep. He'll walk around the net. Tight turn against Vogel. Centering pass shut down by Clevin. Stützle taking the far wall. Carolina still with it. Svechnikov pulls it around Vogel. And his shot shut down before it could reach goal. Around it goes. Swing and a miss from Montemapalo trying to clear. Reverse from Batherson, and both teams will change.
Oh, I'm still so impressed by that Stankoven adjustment, right? As the puck is coming, he has to move his body position and just gets the release and the pace on the shot to finish it. What a play.
What a play. And to your point, too, earlier, Jen, 3 face-off wins for the Hurricanes on that power play. They started with the puck every single time, and eventually it turned into that goal.
His 4th goal, now tied for the most in the playoffs this year with Tampa Bay's Brandon Hagel.
When you think about those details paying off in big moments, right? And Rod Brindamore told us he was studying. He's constantly wanted to improve on all elements of his game, including those face-offs, and couldn't come at a better time for them to take the lead here in Game 4.
Now for Ottawa. On the back foot again. Long pass. Icing.
Well, let's take another look at the goal, and Logan Stankoven. Look, he's calling for that puck. He doesn't get it there off the backboards, and there's that shot, Jen, right between his legs, and he just flexes his stick, and
lasers that right into the back of the net. What an effort there by Logan Stankoven.
Right, and he just watch the blade. Like it's initially up out of his right blade and moves it to make sure he's got the blade in between his legs, center of his body. Just a smart, elite decision by Stankoven, who's on a roll.
We'll check in with the studio when we come back. Carolina has the lead.
NHL and TNT Game Break presented by Take 5 Oil Change. Wyatt Johnson had the double OT winner for Dallas in Game 3. Coming up, it's Game 4 from St. Paul against Kirill Kaprizov and the Wild. Now, because we are running long in Ottawa, this game will start over on True TV, and then we will pick it up on TBS. For now, though, let's send it back to Alex, Jen, and Mace.
All right, Liam. 9 minutes and 1 second remaining. Ottawa playing for their season. Carolina playing for a series sweep. Jordan Spence sends it around the board. The Hurricanes taking the lead in the third period. Gostisbehere shoulder to shoulder with Batherson. Carolina will clear the zone. Shabbat on the reload. Deflected ahead. Couldn't be flagged down by Batherson. Taylor Hall to dump it in. When do you start to gamble here if you're the Senators?
You've got to start to go for it now. I mean, you can't wait till the last 2 minutes of the game to press. So you've got to have a more assertive forecheck. If you've got your players back, you can still have an F3 high, but you've got to start to work and press up the ice.
Ottawa fell behind Toronto 3-0 in last year's first round, only to win games 4 and 5, dropping the series eventually in 6.
Ottawa's definitely got to tilt it back, and to Botz's point there, you got to start taking chances, but you got to still weigh the risk reward. It can't be a full send right now, but got to find ways to put pressure on Carolina. Chip that puck in, get that forecheck going again.
There's Giroux to Pinto, shut down on the back check by Slavin.
And that's it. Speed, but another defensive play by the Hurricanes.
Jarvis lost his footing on a potential 2-on-1. Sticked away from Svechnikov, and Mario closing down. Aho picks it up out of the corner, feeding Svechnikov onto the back. Gostisbehere, wrist shot, tip wide. Svechnikov kicks it behind the net, got spun around. Shabbat flips the puck up the wall and out. Mario with the steal against Gostisbehere. Rose up, support arriving, but his pass deflects out of the zone. Shabbat for Stützle, losing his footing on the entry. Gostisbehere lifts it back to the red line. Nick Cousins is on it. Jankowski takes it from him. Jankowski drifts below the goal line, walks out, opens, shoots in tight. Omar kept the paddle down. Stützle for Cousins on the exit. Back for Stützle. They're onside. Stützle lost it momentarily. Got it back. Surveys, waits, shoots, blocked. Picked up along the wall by Cousins. Stützle, rink wide. Montempallo charges down the boards. Drive to the net. Save. Rebound off the side of the net. Slavin on the puck. And he'll clear to the red line. Quick change for Carolina. Ottawa trying to catch him on it. Cousins stood up at the line. Penalty coming up on Ottawa.
Too many men. Wow. So, Mace, this was one thing that
This might go the other way, guys.
I think this might go Carolina.
So there's the save. Anderson gets there, and Batherson's in front looking for the rebound. Montempallo, the drive, just repositioning the puck to make sure he gets it on net. And as you see Anderson sprawling across to try to make the save, and that rebound chance just sails wide. But it is the Carolina Hurricanes with too many men on the ice. So now it's this power play. So there's the change. You've got too many players. Look, that is
they're
a
putting everyone out there. They want to finish this off early.
And I was saying that was interesting because that was the Senators in Game 3. They got the call where it looked like everybody was on the ice. And so now you've got a chance here for the power play.
That's what happens though when you try to, initiate a line change when the puck is still on your side of the ice in your zone. There's a little panic.
And players wanting to be ready to hop out, but you've got that responsibility as a player. You can't do so.
Too many men on Carolina. And for the 9th time today, the Senators head to the man advantage.
And this is a huge face-off here. Brady Tkachuk versus Jordan Staal. He's taken 25 face-offs in this game so far, 32 in Game 3 of this series.
He goes low, but the Senators win the draw. Held in by Yakupchuk. He steers it down low. Tkachuk is on it. Battling Slavin. Chatfield joins. Puck comes free. Tkachuk strips it away from Chatfield. Tried to swing it to the middle. Cut down and cleared.
And that was Staal fronting the position, making sure that nobody gets possession in front. Just a strong defensive play by Staal.
Yeah, and the Carolina Hurricanes, the pressure that they put on the penalty kill is incredible. They're outmanning Ottawa in the corner. That can't happen.
Steele, Slavin, one-on-one with Yakupchuk. Driving to the net. Save, Omar. A game saver. Ottawa down by 1 on the power play. Another steal in the neutral zone. Allmark will drop it back into play.
If you're the Senators, you got to think, yes, you've got to play with urgency, but settle down so you're making smart decisions with the puck. Composed under pressure.
Walker unable to clear. Reeled in by Shabbat. His pass intercepted. And it'll be taken out of the zone by Walker. He has Martinook joining. Saucer pass. Martinook couldn't settle it down.
Two poor passing plays by the Sens on this power play so far.
Giroux out wide for Tkachuk. Tkachuk battling Miller, and this pass leaves the zone. 35 seconds left on the man advantage. Re-entry from the Senators. Tkachuk, bank pass, too hot to handle for Stützle.
It's the execution. They're getting the right idea to try to chip that puck to the outside, but it's the next pass after that that Ottawa's having trouble with.
That's what I mean. You got to think ahead, right? To expect what are you doing when you receive that puck.
Shot in by Giroux. Zetterlund is on it. Around for Giroux. Cousins fires, glove, saved by Anderson.
That was a great look by Cousins. I mean, no hesitation. Get the puck and look to shoot as presence is in front. But here's the Slavin chance. I mean, that's just a soft play. And Slavin is off to the races. And Allmark, what a track of the puck off his pad.
And here's that chance right there. Cousins gets that. He's turning and fire again. Maybe rushing it a bit. I think because they've struggled on the power play, not necessarily waiting for that traffic, but taking that shot when it's given to him. There hasn't been many opportunities because of the lack of execution by the Senators.
But I don't mind that decision. I feel like that you got to be more on the side of that and making a quick decision and getting it towards the net.
To that save, face-off scrum is pushed out by Staal. No, kept alive at the line. Yakupchuk feeds it into the corner. Penalty is up. Carolina has it back. Jankowski to stash it in. Under 4 minutes to go. Senators trailing by 1. Season on the line. A steal by Stankoven. He'll feed it to the neutral zone for Hall. Hall taken one-on-one by Spence. Around it goes. Bounces to Blake. And he'll backpedal to the neutral zone and dump it in. Jordan Spence on the reset. Amadio gaining steam over the red line. Dumps it in, gives chase, bangs together with Chatfield. Back behind, it's Fogle to chop it to the corner. Pinto ties up with Stankoven. Fogle knocked off his feet. Puck up for grabs. Kept alive by Clevin. And this will roll towards Anderson's net. Settles it with his stick. Unable to clear. Amadio kept it alive. Svechnikov to the line. Clevin couldn't keep the zone.
A better pressure now by the Sens because you're seeing the F3 jump down when they need to make sure they've got more pressure down low.
When does Allmark go to the bench? 2:42 and ticking. Stützle, full spin. Stützle over the line. There goes Allmark. Batherson behind the net. He has the only Ottawa goal here in Game 4. Empty net waiting. Aho dekes around Yakupchuk. Bullseye. Empty net goal for Sebastian Aho. And Carolina leads by 2.
Well, what an elite skilled play by Aho to get down the ice. Deception, but it's Jarvis in his own zone that makes a little one-touch quick pass. So you see Stützle, he had composure, a delay, looking for your option. And then watch Jarvis here. Just a little touch pass, and Jarvis gets drilled into the boards. And then Aho, the fakes inside, outside, and you've got 4 Sens players that are back. And then Jarvis, he's a player that's tried to keep the energy and sort of the lightness in terms of the high pressure stakes of the playoffs. And what a play by those two combined.
Well, and you look at down low in the zone, again, you've got the extra attacker on the ice for Ottawa, and it's a 3-on-2 Carolina in the corner. They get possession of the puck and execute from there, but just not enough connected pressure there by the Senators.
Omar back in his net.
But I think by Jarvis, too, that decision, he doesn't just chip it out or flip it into the neutral zone. Jarvis holds on to it, finds Aho, and then eventually the skilled move down the ice for the empty netter.
There goes Omar. Empty net once again for Ottawa. They need 2 this time. Around it goes for Tkachuk. Anderson with no trouble.
Let's see if they decide to take a timeout here or not. Looks like they're gonna roll with it here. Let's take another look at the goal, Jen.
Well, Mace, you've got to make these key decisions, and that's where Jarvis sees the pressures coming. And there, you just see how hard of a hit he takes. But that's Aho. I mean, we've talked about his composure, finding space and recognizing what's coming at him. Beautiful play.
Batherson behind the net. Under 2 minutes to go. They score! Dylan Cousins out in front, and the Senators are not done yet.
What a response by the Sens. And we're talking about the importance of face-offs because this time it's the Sens that win it. Down low, Batherson. Watch those head checks as he's coming around the one side of the net. He's constantly checking and then eventually gains possession and finds Cousins, who gets his 2nd goal of this series. A huge one.
Don't you ever give up. The Ottawa Senators are not going quietly as they make this interesting, and a great play by Batherson to find Cousins in the shot, and he executes. Sends within 1 again.
It was a season defined by resilience for the Ottawa Senators.
Well, after the Canes got that empty netter, 33 seconds later, the goal by the Sens.
Empty net for Ottawa. Here's Stützle, blocked, and a caroms out of the zone. Jordan Martinook took all of that one.
He's hobbling over the bench after that massive block.
Under 1.5 minutes to go. Empty net for Ottawa. Aho flips it towards the net and in! Sebastian Aho just chipping it to an area. And is that the dagger?
Wow, you can understand the disappointment by Travis Green. But look at Aho, just making sure he's got enough of it. And this is where it starts, because this is the block. Look at Martinook throwing his entire body in front of it, because Stützle was right there thinking he's got the chance to tie this game up. And Martinook is on the bench feeling it, but that allows Aho to go down and get that 2nd empty netter.
What a game-saving play there by Jordan Martinook. He took that right on top of the knee there, above the shin pad where there's no padding, and hobbles his way to the bench to get that next man off. And what a play, what a sacrifice there by Martinook.
How many times have we talked about that 2nd effort and those battles, and Aho just getting enough on it to make sure he gets enough positioning, body positioning, stick positioning, to put that empty netter in, his 2nd empty netter.
Under 1 minute to go in the Senators season. Stützle unable to dump it in. Shot wide of the empty net. Icing is called with 47 seconds.
Well, Mace, this is a team that's committed to playing defense. Look, Stützle thinks he's got it. He's trying to pick his corner on how to beat Anderson, but Martinook is just eyeing that puck down and throws himself into it. And then eventually, it's look here, Chatfield up the ice, and that one again was a little touch pass by Jarvis. We spoke about the first empty netter where Jarvis made the smart play. Another just little touch that allowed Aho to win that battle before putting it in the net.
Yeah, when you think of the plays in a series that are defining and the willingness for these guys to put their bodies on the line, how hard fought this game was, and Jordan Martinook without his stick, you could see he was willing to block that with whatever part of his body that he had to make that play and essentially give his team that 2-goal lead, which is just unbelievable. And the Hurricanes know, and you hear Rod Brindamore when we were talking to him today, Jen, was how important guys like Jordan Staal and Martinook are to this team, and the character and the identity that they play with.
In the last 5 years, only 2 other teams have not trailed at any point in the first 3 games of a series. Carolina, again, did not trail today. The other 2 teams, 2022 Colorado Avalanche, 2025 Florida Panthers. Both went on to win the Stanley Cup. Another strong effort from the top team in the Eastern Conference this season. Staal to a loose puck, and he'll bank it down ice.
I think there it is. Aho finding Staal. But really, the story of depth on this team, because you could probably go through every defenseman for this team and how well they played for the Carolina Hurricanes. Staal, his presence throughout this season. But really, Stankoven, you think about him, 4 goals in this postseason, 1 in every game that they played. The compete, the creativity, the ability to finish. But then here down the stretch, Jarvis and Aho combining to seal the deal.
Yeah, Carolina is such a deep, hard-working team, and when they needed those guys to step up to finish it off, they got that from them, from the big dogs.
Shot blocked to the corner. Miller to clear the zone. This will go all the way down again.
Well, you think about the Senators, right? They had to work to earn their spot in the postseason, and they always had to rally back, but the Hurricanes was just too big of a challenge to find a way. I mean, they were in all of the games of this series, but they couldn't find a way to get the results, to get enough offense. The Hurricanes always had the answer.
And I think when Ottawa looks back, I mean, they fought. It was tooth and nail. This was such a close series, but they'll look back at some of those 5-on-3 opportunities.
Certainly depleted in terms of personnel as the series wore on. But the Carolina Hurricanes, with only their second 4-game sweep in the Stanley Cup playoffs in their franchise history, the Canes are the first team on to the second round in this year's postseason.
Rod Brindamore, you see the excitement on the bench, and Anderson, what a story he was for the Hurricanes and his play through these 4 games, preventing the Sens from capitalizing on their chances. And there we're seeing it, Mace. I mean, the emotion on both sides, the heartbreak and the disappointment for the Senators that felt like they were playing their best hockey coming into the playoffs, and then the smiles and the elation for this Carolina Hurricanes team that came in and delivered in every way.
Yeah, just watching the coaching staffs here shake their hands, and Ottawa, as hard as it is, wishing the Hurricanes luck here, and it was a hard-fought series, and you're right, and all of a sudden, the Ottawa Senators, who fought so hard just to get into the playoffs, it comes to a crashing halt here against the Carolina Hurricanes, who had an impressive series.
Logan Stankoven with 4 goals to lead the way for the Hurricanes. Freddie Anderson, dominant in net. A trying season for Linus Ullmark on the other side. And this Ottawa Senators team that willed themselves to the postseason. But the Carolina Hurricanes, the best team in the Eastern Conference in the regular season, they are moving on to the second round.
That's a nice moment there. Mutual respect between the captains of both teams.
And what a sport. You think back to that second period of these 2 teams out there literally trying to kill each other and doing everything in their power, trying to get every advantage physically. And the respect in this game, I just think is one of the most special things in sports. To be able to go down the line and shake each other's hand after you just spent 4 games, 60 minutes here today, just trying to absolutely dominate and kill each other out there tonight. And one team moves on, the Carolina Hurricanes will get a little extra rest, and the Ottawa Senators will unfortunately done for the season.
Mace, you have to love that one, right? You got Anderson, Allmark, I mean, both of them just playing some of the best goaltending hockey we've ever seen from either two of them in this series.
Big respect for them, and that was a question mark for both teams going into the playoffs, and both guys have to hold their heads high after that one. And here's the brackets, Alex.
The Hurricanes might know their playoff opponents by the end of tonight. The Flyers can close it out against the Penguins later tonight on TBS. The Hurricanes are on to the second round. For now, we send you to St. Paul for Game 4 between the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild.